I saved your life. That egg sandwich could have killed you by cholesterol.
Forget it, Homer. While it has been established that eggs contain cholesterol, it has not yet been proven conclusively that they actually raise the level of serum cholesterol in the human bloodstream.
So one of those egg council creeps got to you too, huh?
Oh, you got it all wrong, Homer. It's not like that.
You'd better run, egg!
Welcome back to the Fairweather Friends podcast. As always, I'm Vague, and on my left, Ricky Reyes.
Ahoy, hoy.
Before we introduce our friend for this episode, brief, quick updates. Finally did Words with Friends 2. I had never done it because I thought I would lose all the games I was playing, and so I wouldn't get credit for it on the, I wouldn't be playing any games, because everyone who I played with was on Words with Friends 1.
Yeah.
But I downloaded it, Ricky, and it just immediately imported all my games from Words with Friends 1. So for the last month and a half, I could have been getting credit on Misplay for playing Words with Friends, and maybe I'd have another $10 gift card.
It's bullshit. That's what you get for not trying new things.
What's the difference between Words with Friends 1 and 2?
I have no idea. Words with Friends
gameplay.
2, they do have a team gameplay where it's lightning round.
Oh, nice.
So, like, literally it's 5 people. You don't get to pick your team, though, Ricky. So that was the downside of it.
Yeah, that sucks.
Is it just immediately matches you up with people, like, playing video games online. And then it's the first team to score 750 points. So you literally just play a word, and then it switches game boards, and you play another word, switches game boards. It just keeps rotating.
Yeah.
So you're pretty much playing as fast as you can. First 750 points wins.
Remember whenever you used to play Madden and you and your friend would be playing at the same time and you both play a ranked match, try to match up against each other? You guys ever try to do that? No. Me and Jenner used to try to do that all the time.
Did it ever work?
Nope.
Yeah, I got fucking 20,000 people playing that game.
You know how you can choose your regions now, like on Rocket League and stuff?
Okay.
That might make it a little more successful. Choose West Coast only.
But online, you can just challenge people.
Yeah, but we wanted to play and we wanted to get
It's ranked. That's right. It's not
points.
ranked if you just challenge each other.
We talk about Madden. I have a thing or two to say about that.
That's part of where our friendship started, Bunk.
Yeah.
So, our friend for this episode, Blair Bunke.
The Blair Bunke.
This time we're going to try to remember to give the background, because last episode we forgot and came back to it.
This is a dream seizure will you get for the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
We have a short list.
One of his all-time...
You're one of the all-timers, Blair. You, Johnny Wardell is on the list. We've already had
Hold on. What episode is this?
19 or 20?
So I'm your 19th or 20th most interesting friend, is that?
No.
You guys had fucking Hook on twice before you had me on, for fuck's sake.
We felt like we had to build up a strong show to get such a veteran like you.
You completely failed at that, so...
Yeah, we weren't really trying to get people for a while. Like, the first 4 episodes was NBA, and so it was just me and Ricky. Then we did Hooper because he begged to be on, and then started considering himself the third podcaster, which he'll never listen to this. So then he was on a few times, and Jared Johnson was, I forget what, we just kind of were talking. I don't know, it just kind of was whoever was asking. We weren't really.
Well, Jared was, I've always wanted
to
to talk to him about Seattle stuff.
Yeah. So now we're starting to get around to actually asking people to be on the show.
Honestly, I thought you would be like, yeah, fuck that, I'm not going.
Well, I think we have more people that want to be on the show than actually listen to it at this point now. Which is interesting.
Are you guys going to ask if I listen to it or not?
Yes. Eventually.
I did hear that you heard when I said you don't get excited by anything. And I had to defend that. Because I did state that wrong. I feel like you don't show excitement as often. You show outrage a lot.
I do show outrage more than excitement. I'll give you that. No, that was the first episode I listened to. And like 7 minutes in, I'm like, what the fuck? What is...
It's probably my favorite thing about podcasting so far is saying things about someone on the podcast and then getting texted about it after the episode comes out.
Have you ever heard the story about Barkley? Like, the first time you ever said something bad about Kobe like blew his phone up, and Chuck was like, I've done nothing but suck your dick for like 20 years. I finally say one thing and you're coming at me? Really?
Charles,
fucking legend. What a fucking legend. Did you send that video to Vag?
Yeah, I sent it to the Justice Smollett one.
Legend.
Oh, I didn't actually watch it yet.
Oh.
I'm terrible because I think I opened it while I was at work and I can't listen to him at work.
Should we roll tape?
Yeah, if I can pull it up.
While Ricky's pulling that up. So, Blair, you've also been in Siege Woolley your whole life, right?
Well, I live in Mount Vernon now.
Yeah, but I mean growing up. So we always try to talk about how we met people and how we know each other.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we played soccer together at a pretty young age, but I feel like, didn't you always go to school in Siege Woolley?
Yeah, I went to school in Cedar. I did Evergreen and then Central Cascade High School.
I was like, I know that I've known who you were forever, and then we played soccer together. I don't know how old we were. I can never remember that shit.
I was like 11 or 12. 13. It was Blue Blazers, which was, I think, was like 6th, 7th, 8th grade, I think.
Yeah, I think I did U11s because I was playing in a younger, and then I jumped up finally with you guys.
Yeah.
And like Peter Janicki and everybody.
Yeah.
That's right. And then we started Blue Blazers.
I don't. My first recollection of Blair is like 9th or 10th grade.
It's Clear Lake kids.
It was in Spanish class, and it was because you knew all the words to the Stonecutters song. And I was,
I don't.
It was like the one.
I don't remember that.
Oh yeah, I even had you. I was like, "You really know all the lyrics? Will you write them down for me?" And you like literally wrote them down.
Yeah, and then junior year of high school, Zach Johnson started the Red Rockets, rec softball. We all were on the team. That team
It
changed
blossomed
over the years
into
a
our basketball team as well.
Oh, that's right. Our attempt at rec basketball. That was
Even worse than our attempt at rec softball.
rough.
All right, I found the clip. You ready? Wrong way.
He gets Shaq so it's like Shaq sounds like he got shot. He's like calling out to Barkley for like his last. He just gets him like dying on that show.
They used to, I swear, 2 years ago
Did you-
when Shaq first started on the show, they would get so pissed at each other. Like,
We are so old.
No shit.
You know how you say like you think like 2004 was like a couple years ago?
Ugh.
Shaq has not been on for 2 years, Bag. He's been on for like 5 or 6 years.
no, I know, but I actually used to watch it like 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
And they used to get
Oh, they
so
still
annoyed
do.
with each other.
They still do.
I just never watch
Shaq,
anymore.
Shaq gets heated. It's pretty funny.
Shaq gets real heated.
He used to just push.
He's getting. I think he's
Barkley's
getting better
buttons.
though.
Yeah.
He would always get defensive, but I think he's getting better.
Does he bring up the fact that he has a championship and Barkley doesn't every show still?
No. I think it's getting better, but yeah, they would get.
As long as his defense
heavy.
on his arguments.
Did you see Kevin McHale when they were doing Players Only a while back? It was like a trainer was working with like Jimmy Butler or something, and like McHale thought they were off the air, and like McHale was like talking like Dennis Scott or Greg Anthony, and he was like, I used to get into it with him all the time. Yeah, he was dickhead.
Oh, that's who that was?
Yeah, it was McHale. and then he like apologized for it like later in the. Because he's just like, well, I know everyone tunes in to hear basketball, and can you imagine how much would you pay to have like? Because he sent in that Ben Simmons clip.
Yeah.
How much would you pay to have like old school players, like unrated, call a game, and then like have every single player mic'd up, but like they didn't know they were mic'd up?
Oh god.
Oh man.
It wouldn't last very long. People would be suspended constantly.
Amazing.
Yet they're tame now compared to how they used to be.
Oh yeah.
That's part of the fun of going to a live game is getting to
Yeah.
hear all the chatter on the court.
That was my favorite. Going to the last Sonics game, not last Sonics game I went to with Peyton there. Just hearing him talking trash before the game and stuff. Just walking around, just talking the whole time during warm-ups. So Blair, you are also a contributor. And actually, I'm not sure exactly what your role is for sure. But on the Scum and Villainy podcast, were you one of the creators or just became a...
No.
He's just such a legend in the community. They had to reach out to him.
Yeah, it's a bit of a, well, it's not really much of a story. Basically, like I got invited into this like league they were doing, and then
For X-Wings.
for X-Wing the miniature game for the uninitiated, and yeah, basically they had me join this league, and I did pretty well in the league, and then one guy, Lyle, who lives in Portland, is a really cool guy. I've got pretty close with, basically invited me to join their podcast, and I've been doing everything. Haven't been doing a whole lot lately, so we had basketball season going on.
Well, unless they go long stretches without a podcast, some of these here are like one a month.
Usually we try to do every 2 weeks.
Okay.
But
Yeah, it looks like just December was the only month. December and January, it's like you guys only hit one, and then it's been back to a couple in February.
Yeah.
But
I've only done 2 in the last like 3 or 4 months.
The last one, they were like, Blair's out shaping young minds.
I listened to you for a little bit on the last one that you were actually on, but then I don't know what they're talking about, so it makes it hard.
I have no
Makes it
idea
a
what
little
they're talking
difficult,
about.
doesn't it?
Much more successful podcast, though. According to Podbean, 331,000 downloads.
Yeah, we usually get like 3,000 unique an episode on average.
Yeah, up to 89 episodes now. I'm guessing you got some pretty specific places to market it, where people actually know what X-Wing is. And
We used to like Ricky used to pimp it out a lot, but now we really don't at all. We've like always, because we have a Patreon too, so we've always talked about like doing shit with that, but we're all just like so lazy. We like never end up doing like anything.
Respect.
So
we can understand that. We have all kinds of plans that just
yeah. So he used to like, and sometimes we'll do other stuff too. Like we'll like cast games like this, and people play online too. So sometimes we'll cast those games.
Yeah, so we got a game of X-Wing we're watching a stream of on Stitcher. So this is one of the guys. Is this one of the guys who's on that podcast?
Are they both Canadian?
I don't know where the guy on the left is from.
He has a big maple leaf on his shoulder.
Then he probably is. This is in Toronto right now.
But this is how famous Blair is in the X-Wing community. They've shouted out his name several times during this live stream. One of the guys apparently keeps Blair bunking it, or at least was in the beginning.
Which we've
He's the guy who
established.
sucks.
He's the guy who sucks is Blair bunking it.
What's the Homer on The Simpsons?
It changes throughout the episode. 'Cause the first one is when he saves the power plant unintentionally. I can't remember what happens after that.
Magic falls.
Looks
in
like
the
I
crowd.
pulled a Homer. I just called our last time out. Just wish you congratulations.
Yeah, you guys' episodes are freaking long. Like, we did our longest one ever. I guess not all of them, but our longest one ever, we just hit over 2 hours. There's one in here, you guys did over 3.5 hours.
What?
I guess most of them are under 2 hours.
Yeah,
But
that was
there's
probably when was that?
In September.
September. So that was like when they
Rebels.
So yeah, it was supposed to be just Rebels, but so basically X-Wing was released in 2012 at Gen Con, which is like the big board game.
I didn't realize it was that new. I thought it was longer.
It's not that old, but still, it's 7 years. But it got released at Gen Con, which is like the big sort of like board game thing. That's what fucking Liz, his brothers and dad goes to every year.
Oh.
It's like the big board game event, and it's really the biggest board game convention in the entire world, really. It's freaking huge. They have it in Indianapolis area. And that's when they released it. And they just announced 2.0 about 9 months ago. And so that was basically us. That was when they announced all the points, what every ship was going to cost. So you can see the little numbers, like the Blue Squadron, see the 41 on the left below those guys. That's how much they cost. So if you see they're both like 200 points combined, that's how many points you can fit into a squad. So that's when they finally released what all the upgrade cards and pilots were going to cost. So that's why it was so huge. Such a long episode.
And now they're actually bunched up Risk style, attacking and defending each other.
Trying to blow each other away.
It looks like a mess, Ricky.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell is
Yeah,
going
if you
on.
don't know X-Wing, to me it's almost like it's a combination between board games and like chess, because the ships all fly around depending on each ship has its own different set of moves it can do, right, Blair?
Yep.
And you're stuck in a 3x3 foot square.
Yep.
So you basically just fly around until other ships are in range and then attack each other. It's about as simple of an explanation as I can give, and as complicated of an explanation as I can give, because I have never made it farther into the strategy.
I mean, that's pretty much it. So most ships have a 83 degree firing arc in the front of them, and anything in that up to like range 3, which is like about 1.5 feet, basically anything in that arc you can shoot at. And the closer they are, obviously, is the better shot. The farther away is tougher. And so that's basically what you're seeing, is they're just pointing at each other and trying to blow each other up.
It says Mike Croft has 24 points. Is that like damage he's...
Yeah, so he's got that big ship Kalen has with the... You recognize that. Have you guys... Or you guys probably have. Did you guys see... Have you guys seen any of the new Star Wars movies?
Yeah,
I've seen them both.
You seen them all?
Yeah.
So you recognize the one... Sorry. You recognize that? No? That was from...
It's a really small picture.
That was from... What's the movie when they get the Death Star plans?
Oh, Rogue One.
Rogue
I
One.
just said Blair.
They just have a name that cut out.
Yeah, our internet isn't great.
I haven't watched Rogue One yet.
Oh.
Rogue One. So there's 4 new ones. There's 2 that are Star Wars episodes.
I haven't watched Rogue One or Han Solo.
Episode 7 and 8, but then there's Rebel 1.
But once that Vader scene
And
got
Solo.
spoiled, I was like, I ain't fucking watching this.
You didn't like it?
No, I was
I
like,
thought that was the best part.
yeah, it's the best part. I don't need to watch anything else.
Hopefully, the internet usually comes back. We lost Skype like twice when we were doing our last podcast.
Oh yeah. Oh, I just told Matt to unplug it.
Oh, okay.
I'll go plug in the router real quick. Hold on. Because he was looking for a power bar for his projector.
But so the ships all have 21 or 200. You said cost or whatever total, but can their damage doesn't necessarily that, right?
So yeah, what I was saying, so why they said he scored 24 points is he had gotten Kalen, that big ship Kalen had, he gotten that it's life to half. So if you get a ship's life to half, whatever they cost, you get half that many points.
Oh, okay.
So he scored
the points
24
isn't about how much
points.
damage they can take. It's just
Yeah.
Well, since we don't have that to talk about, what else were we going to get into?
we're gonna talk gaming.
But first,
You had a
basketball?
so you still play morning ball, Blair? Is it like 6 a.m.?
5:30.
5:30. Jesus.
I haven't gone in like 3 or 4 weeks, but I have been going since like June. I've been going pretty steadily, but I've been needing to go to the chiropractor. I haven't been able to get there. So and I rolled my ankle pretty bad too, and then Kevin made me keep playing on it. So I remember when Bill Simmons and his friend were interviewing Barkley, and they were talking about getting old, and they were like, "What's like?" So you're talking about getting old, all these things that you start to lose. What's the first thing that goes? And he's like, recovery. He's like, that's the first thing, and that's what all the old guys say. It's like it just takes so much longer to get over those injuries.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we used to play at the Indian Reservation, I rolled my ankle, and then we play again a week later every time, and it would swell back up, but I could play on it for a day, and then it just took like 2 or 3 days to recover. Now I'm pretty sure I'd be down for like a month.
Yeah.
Pretty easily.
We had a pretty good rivalry with them going on for a while.
The Indians, yeah. I missed the one game where apparently you guys put up like 120 in a game, or 100.
Those are good times.
It's like one of the weeks I wasn't there. But it was good being able to play full court basketball indoors and not have to worry about elements.
Oh,
Nice
so,
gym.
so speaking of that, so you know who was a freshman this year?
Who?
Fucking Budsy's kid.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
And he started on JV and they pulled him up to varsity.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
He was hands down if we had him, would have been a big help. But no, I thought he was just gonna be like a sniper like Budsy was, but his shooting really wasn't there. But his shot is so high arcing that like once he starts to get it down, he's gonna be. It's like the highest arcing shot I think I've ever seen.
That's awesome.
But his shooting wasn't really there this season, but he still contributed pretty well. They played at Ferndale, and he ripped their starting point guard like 3 times. Like just open court, he's just pressing him one-on-one, and he was able to like get a steal and then get a breakaway land like 3 times in a game.
Yeah.
He had a pretty solid year. It's a little up and down, but he's gonna be stud next year. He's only a sophomore. He's
So-
gonna be a sophomore.
Those of you that don't know, morning basketball is a group of former alumni from Cedar Woolley High School, a couple teachers, principal or 2.
It's not all alumni, like Nick.
Yeah, that's true. And people that they met along the way that are willing to get up that early play.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part.
Yeah.
People willing to get up at 5:30.
It's a good if you can get into the rotation, but once you're out of it, it's like, fuck.
It is.
There's
It's hard.
nothing you want to do less.
Yep.
Yeah, should I work at 6 a.m.? But that's if I wasn't getting paid. No way I'd get myself up that early.
No, Blair, I remember one time that we were playing Halo 3 all night, and then we all decided let's fuck it, let's just go.
We did that like 2 or 3 times.
That's it.
I was gonna say I couldn't remember for sure Halo 3, but I definitely remembered sleeping on Ricky's couch for like an hour before going to morning ball because we decided at like 3 or 4 in the morning that we should go.
Doing that, like, I did that a couple times. Man, it would fuck with your sleep cycle.
Yeah.
Like, I remember one time I woke up at like 2:30 in the morning, and I was like, wasn't tired at all. I was like, fuck. So I sat there for like an hour, like trying to go back to sleep. I couldn't. So I was like, all right, just got up, and started playing Halo. Went to basketball at 5:30 again. It's crazy.
Back then, I couldn't even get to sleep before like 3 or 4. So there was so many times where it was tempting to just stay up and go to morning ball and then go to sleep.
Yep.
But I'd almost always fall asleep at like 4, 4:30.
Yeah.
and give up.
And Brian was, he had just started working at the casino up in Deming. And so he was working graveyard a lot. So he would get home at like 5 o'clock.
Oh, damn.
And I'd still be up. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Speaking of video games, so kind of video games. First, a backstory on that.
Yeah.
On the
little
Jared
bit.
Johnson started his podcast, Seattle Sports Today, where he throws to people sports questions. So the first 2 have been us, and our last one, Ricky, we had my buddy Ryan on. So you thought we should throw him back a question.
Yes.
And I figured non-sports
Pass it
related.
back.
We don't need to go sports related necessarily. And with Blair Bunke here, speaking of video games, I figured a good question for us. Favorite video game of all time?
Got an answer for that one, Bunky?
I'll give you a second to think if you want. I thought about it because I thought of the question earlier today.
There's like 2 different eras though, because you got the single player, and then multiplayer. Because that'll make a complete difference.
And you can definitely go by that. The only game I thought of was first one I thought of, Modern Warfare, Call of Duty, was my favorite for a couple of reasons.
The original. Or you just like by the whole series?
The original Modern Warfare. I don't even know if I even played Modern Warfare 2. Or if I played like once with my nephews, and you can like, that one has jetpacks and shit, right?
No.
That's Infinite
So
Warfare.
Call of Duty 4 was the original Modern Warfare.
Yeah, well they put Modern Warfare on the cover. Which the first one that actually said Modern Warfare.
Yeah, that was the 4th Call of Duty.
Because that's when I was actually playing games online quite a bit. But
I remember I'd never heard of Call of Duty, and then you're like, "Hey, I've been playing this game." So
there was World at War came before Modern Warfare, right?
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
that was right when the Activision split with Ubisoft.
Yeah, so World at War was like the other ones and those were like the first Call of Duty games I played.
Yep.
Call of Duty typically was older style guns.
It was always World War II. That was what it was for the first like 3 or 4. And then Modern Warfare was the first one where they branched off.
Yes, and I'm terrible at aiming. So using older style guns and missing 2 times and having like the time it takes to reload, pretty much you're dead. So Modern Warfare was great. Still could play online with people. The guns are good enough where if I missed, I could just spray until I killed them if they didn't know where I was at and actually do okay. So it was a great combination of getting to play online because it's the only time I play video games really. The only time I really do anything is with people.
Yeah.
By myself, I just read.
It was so easy to get a good party back then too.
Yeah, because everyone was playing it.
Yeah, you just jumped on, and there was always like 2 or 3 other people online. So Call of Duty Modern Warfare, I think, is my favorite game of all time.
Good one.
It definitely got frustrating, but took longer. Games like sports games would be, except especially basketball, were so fucking frustrating that I didn't have as much fun. Especially basketball. I haven't played a basketball game in like 10 years because of goddamn wide open dunks where they try a reverse lay-in instead and miss, or Yao Ming gets blocked by Nate Robinson, even though that did happen once in real life. Drove me nuts. So that'd be my favorite.
I actually think how Blair and Sly used to play, where they draft teams and do seasons and stuff.
Oh, with Madden?
Yeah, I think you could draw a crowd with that.
That was that was honestly what pissed me off. That was the big reason why I stopped buying Madden. Really, it wasn't like the fact that like the game was damn near the same thing every single year. It was the fact that they had Xbox, and like the 4 or 5 years it was on Xbox, it got better every single. The franchise mode got better every year, and then when they picked it up to 360, it was like you could tell it was a brand new development team. They didn't take any of the shit they learned from Xbox, and it was so the interface was slow as shit. It was like you would scroll to the next page, it would take like 2 seconds. So if you're scrolling all the way over, it would take so fucking long. And I remember the stats were so disproportionate. Like you would have 26 of the quarterbacks would finish with a 90 or better passer rating when the season was over, would throw for 4,000 yards. Like, what the fuck is this shit? This isn't fucking realistic. That was like the big thing. It wasn't the fact that the gameplay was the same year, and that didn't really even care so much about because I thought the engine was solid. That is just the completely fucked franchise mode. That's what pissed me off the most. But man, we killed some hours doing that. We sure did.
Definitely played it online for quite a bit for a while.
Oh yeah,
for a couple years.
Yep. Man, I got up to I think '08, the year that what was the year of the passing cone?
Oh
yeah, I remember that.
That was the highest I ever got. And I got top 500 in the world online. And I noticed the higher and higher I got, it wasn't like people got better. They just like got better at like knowing what the exploits in the game were.
Of course.
It's like knowing how to like zone blitz, just all the cheap shit that you could get away with. It was like none of them knew how to play quarterback for shit. And when I watch those fucking TV shows they do, it's the same fucking thing. None of them can pass. None of them know how to go through their reads. It's just like they have like 2 or 3 pet plays and that's just all they run. And then they're decent at defense, but none of them can play quarterback for shit. And that was the other thing that burned me out so much. Is I just didn't feel like the game rewarded skill. I just felt like, and if you go on the forums, that was all it fucking was. Everyone complaining about cheese, and oh man, it was such a. I tell you, when that shooting happened down in wherever the fuck that was.
Oh, in Florida.
Oh, at the tournament.
Yeah.
That did not surprise me at all because that community was so fucking toxic. That was another reason I got out of that fucking. It was the most toxic environment you could ever imagine. It was a bunch of fucking nerds, a bunch of losers, but they all thought they were like better than your standard nerd because they were playing a sports game. So they thought they were like jock nerds. But so right, but oh god, it was such a toxic fucking environment.
Should be back on. Yeah, I don't even play online. Madden's definitely my all-time game.
So I remember seeing videos where people would do their little like practice things where they'd play against different defenses and they'd find a play that it just couldn't fail.
Yep.
And I remember there was one where it was just a drag route where as long as you lob the ball, the guy would catch it every time. But if you tried to throw like a line drive, it would get deflected by the defensive back.
PA fullback flat, where it's just basically your standard play
2
action.
curls.
That was one of my favorite
Play
plays.
action fullback flat. I don't remember that one.
That's just your
The
basic,
fullback always was wide open,
yeah.
or else
and you had a guy
the
streaking. And
yeah,
he
the
would
guy
be open
streaking
every time.
either would be wide open or the fullback.
But Andrew and his work buddies came up this summer and stayed at this house in Big Lake. Gary came out. I'm just hanging out with us. And they brought their Xbox One and they had Madden and I played him. I was playing this one guy. I was up 21-0 at the half against him. He was so fucking pissed. He gave it up to his friend, and by the end of the game, it was 48-7. I was like, they didn't believe I hadn't played in like 6 years. I'm like, you guys don't understand. This is literally the same game that it was 6 years ago. Like nothing has changed.
It's true. They'll have like a couple new animations, but the thing that hooked me was Ultimate Team. I play that shit nonstop. I've logged in so many hours.
What's that?
That's where you get the cards and you build your team.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
You remember you and Jenner were doing that a lot for a while. I tried it like 1 year, and
Me and Jenner are
if
still
you don't stay
every day.
consistent with it, you fall so far behind the other people and like how good their team is getting that.
I've got like 100 hours logged in this year's. Just playing that shit nonstop.
So I missed. Did you say Madden was your favorite game then, Ricky?
No, yeah, definitely. Because the last couple of years, I'll buy something else,
Not like
never play it, and just play Madden the entire time.
not a fighting game. What
Mortal Kombat or Killer Instinct. That's why I brought up multiplayer.
So you were always really good at those games.
Mario 3 too. Played that one.
Mario 3 is a great game. Super Mario. It's pretty awesome.
Turtles 2.
I mean, so many of the
Turtles
Mario
2.
games. Mario Kart.
What about Simpsons Arcade?
Simpsons.
I used to always try and get everybody to go to round tables so we could get it.
Yeah, we beat it that one time. Took $28, but we beat it.
Jeez. I mean, $28 split among 4 people, $7 each. Do you have a favorite, Blair? Or is there too many?
There's some great ones. I don't know. I feel like I've kind of become... All I play is like multiplayer games. Well, I guess that's not true, but just like my competitive edge just like makes me... I like lean towards multiplayer games so much more now. But I don't know. Part of me feels like I don't appreciate games for how good they are. But I guess if you pulled my arm, I'd probably actually say Half-Life 2.
Huh.
Which is a single player game, even though the engine has been used to make a lot of multiplayer games. Have you guys ever played it?
I never played Half-Life.
I would highly recommend it. It's awesome. It really is. Just the story, the diverse gameplay. But I would say the best system of all time, hands down, was Nintendo 64.
Oh, definitely.
I wouldn't even say it was even close. All the 4-player games that you could play with your friends, just not even close. And maybe I'm biased because I was in high school, but like there were so many 4-player games that you could just get 3 friends and just kill a whole weekend over. Halo 3, probably
yeah.
my close second though to Half-Life.
That's what I was gonna say.
That was the only one of the Halo games that I played online quite a bit because I had to wait until I could actually afford it.
Me and Blair would end up on a night of the town and be like, "Fuck this, let's go home and play Halo," and then I would blast Tourette's guy through the mic for the whole chat to hear.
Good times.
It's like the beginning of trolling. It was online gaming.
Oh fuck!
Before the internet trolls. All right, well, that was our thoughts on favorite game of all time. Jared, let's hear what you got to say. We're passing it to you.
Hey everyone, this is Jared from the Rain City Sports Podcast. Just jumping in here with Ricky and Matt to help them give my opinion on a question they asked me. The question is, what is the best video game of all time? When they asked me this question, it provoked a lot of thought because a little known fact about me is that I'm a huge video game fan. I have been most of my life. When I was a kid, I would be playing video games for so long that my mom would force me to go outside and play, but I would just run around the house, open the window to my bedroom, climb back in, and play more video games. So to say that I have a love for video games is probably an understatement. It's faded away a little bit in the past few years. I just don't play as much as I used to, mostly just because I have a lot of other things going on. So with that said, I'll tell you my best favorite video game of all time. So, as I said, this provoked a lot of thought because there was a lot of video games I loved throughout my childhood and even into my adulthood, I guess. And so some of the criteria I use to pick my favorite games is probably the amount of time spent in a game, playing a game. That's probably a huge thing in my, and the enjoyment I got out of it, I guess. So, to me, the first thought was, what did I play when I was real young? And when I was young, I played a lot of NBA Jam. I played a lot of Donkey Kong Country. And I played a lot of Twisted Metal. So all 3 of those games, I think are honorable mentions. But I really loved those games when I was a kid, and I played them a ton. I wish that they would come out with some more Twisted Metals, at least. I think they've come out with some NBA Jams in the past few years, and they may not be able to recreate that. But I think they could recreate Twisted Metal. It may not be quite as good as the original, but the concept is pretty easy to recreate, I would say. So those are a couple honorable mentions. Another couple honorable mentions, I would say, is Tony Hawk Pro Skater. That was more as a teenager. I played a lot of that, although I wasn't a skater myself. But it was definitely an honorable mention because I played a lot of it. So that leads me to my top 5 here. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to count down. So number 5, I'm going to put Elder Scrolls Morrowind. It was the original I think it was the original. Maybe it wasn't. But one of the originals, I think it was on Xbox. And I just happened upon it. I don't even know how I found it, but I started playing it. And I pretty sure I didn't leave my bedroom for about 3 days. And it was just a ton of fun. And me and my brother were playing a lot. And we would trade back and forth because it was a single player game. And then obviously that led to playing some of the newer ones, Skyrim and so on. So that was number 5. I say number 4 is going to be MVP Baseball 2014 or 2004 and 2005. Both of those I played a ton of. Me and a buddy of mine in high school played an entire season of MVP Baseball. Played all 162 games, either him or I. And then we actually, I think we won 150 or 148 games maybe. And we got to the playoffs and people came over in the middle of our game and we ended up losing the series in the first round of the playoffs. And we were like, oh, that's realistic. A team like this would happen. So we just saved it that way. And then we were like, we'll just play another season, and we never actually did. And we always thought, after that, we always talked about it like, hey, why the hell did we let that pass? We should have like not counted that save, start over that game and finished out the season the correct way. But anyways, that would be number 4 for sure. Number 3 is, I feel like, the most underrated game of all time. And that is Scarface, The World Is Yours. And it was for Xbox 360 or maybe Xbox. I can't remember. I think it might have been just for Xbox or maybe for both even. But it was basically like GTA in a lot of ways, except for you were Tony Montana and you sold drugs. You created business. There's businesses, and you take over the business and sell drugs out of them, and then you'd have to go around and collect money. And the intricacies, and you had your mansion, and you could decorate it however you wanted, and there was just a lot of detail in that game. And I never really heard much about it from anybody. I don't know why. I knew I played it a lot and it was a lot of fun. It was only a single player game. So, and the soundtrack to it was absolutely awesome. The music, you drive around and you just wanted to jam to that music. So, it was really cool. Plus you could walk around the streets and you could press a certain button to make them interact with people. Even just, computer people on the streets, and he'd say Tony Montana lines, which was awesome. So definitely in my top 3. Number 2, I put 3 games in one, and that's just because they're all very similar. That's WCW versus NWO Revenge, WWF WrestleMania 2000, and WWE SmackDown. All 3 of those, or WWF SmackDown was probably more realistic actually at that point. But anyways, all 3 of those games, I was super into wrestling at that time. And I absolutely played the hell out of those 3 games. I can't even say it, but it had The Rock, Stone Cold, all the legends. And at that time, wrestling was at its peak, I feel like. So yeah, I played a ton of those. And then that leads me to my number 1 game, and it's the game I've definitely played the most. And that is Madden. I've played Madden every year, basically since I would say at least 2000. I've gotten it every year for my birthday because my birthday is right at that time when it comes out. And I've spent hours and upon hours. Almost every time I get it, I would just lock myself in a room for the day and play Madden like crazy. So, however, I do have a favorite Madden, and that was Madden 2006, because it was the only Madden that had, or maybe there might have been one other Madden that had the QB vision the QB vision. I forget what it's called, but it was a QB vision where your quarterback only had, like, depending on his skill level, like, you would have a bigger window. And I really love that, but not for offense necessarily, but more for defense, because as a safety, it allowed you to read the eyes of a player. Because I always found that when that's not there, how do you know who's they're going to throw the ball to? You can look around and see who's open, I guess, and that's maybe your best option there. But in that way, you could read the eyes at least to be like, okay, he's going to throw to this half of the field at least, depending on how good the quarterback is. And I think that was people's biggest complaint, is that, like, not so good at quarterbacks. Zone was really small, so they are super inaccurate. I think they can make some adjustments and bring that back. I would love that. I bought this year's Madden. I actually haven't played it as much as I would have liked to. I guess it's just been busy. So that's my list. I hope you enjoyed this. And if you want to hear more, check me out on Rain City Sports on Twitter, iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and most other platforms. But I guess that's it for me. I'll send it on back down to Ricky and Matt. Thanks for listening.
All right, thanks for that, Jared. I wonder what he said. We'll find out.
I don't know. He's got a PlayStation. I don't know if he plays too much. I was always more particular to baseball games, actually, too.
So I kind of thought that the answers might be more older games, more of the games you remember playing.
There were some great... Have you guys ever heard of Dusty Diamond's All-Star Softball?
I've heard you talk about it.
God, I gotta play that with you guys sometime. This was old NES, and they only made like a couple thousand copies of this game. And me and my brother still play it to this day. Like, we went down to San Diego, we took a family vacation, and he has like a tiny little like PC thing. It looks like a Super Nintendo, but it's like a PC built in, and all he has is emulators and ROMs on it.
Yeah.
And that's like, all we played was Road Rash and that.
Road Rash. Oh, I forgot about that game. That was awesome.
You play Excite Bike?
Excite Bike's pretty good.
Yeah.
I only ever played that one.
It's on the regular NES. You can do flips and stuff.
Nice. Well, digressing a little bit, you were talking about the coaching, or you didn't really mention coaching, but you were talking about Buzzy's son playing. Did you coach the C team, or you helped on JV? What was it? You and Kesty?
So Kesty was coaching the C team, and me and Brent were helping him out.
Brent Frisbee?
Brent Schiefelbein.
Schiefelbein. I haven't seen him in years.
Yeah.
Joel Schief.
Yeah. Don't know what else to say.
I mean, what was it like dealing with high schoolers, especially high schoolers who probably thought they were better than they were? Although I guess maybe not in Cedar Woolley.
We had one kid who definitely thought he was better than he was. He had kind of a bad attitude, but honestly, like, the challenge of working with those guys, like, I honestly, like, enjoy that challenge, to be honest. It was, like, trying to work with him. We had one kid who Kevin couldn't fucking stand. He was pretty much only on the team because his mom was on the school board.
Oh, God.
And, me and Kevin would be sitting on the bench, and we weren't a very good team. It was Cedar Woolley. It's not a basketball town, never has been. Yeah. So Kevin and I would be sitting on the bench, and we'd be like, why the hell is he doing that when he should, you know how it is.
Yeah.
Well, he'd be sitting there doing the same fucking thing. He'd be like, what? And he'd be like, basically shit-talking his teammates. Well, I'll do that if I'm a coach, but, when we play at Rec League at Skagit at the college, I would never do that to my teammates.
No.
It's different if you're a coach.
Yeah.
And so, finally one game, Kevin looked at him and was like, hey, we don't need that. That's all he said. And, but he, I think the second to last of the last game, he said like something, because he came off the bench, he wasn't very good. He said something to the effect of like, once again, the bench has to like save the day or something like that. And kept, like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? He's not. There's no way he's gonna make it next year. I don't even care how good of a off season he has. He's not gonna make it. The other kid with a bad attitude, he actually was kind of good, but he would just get pissed when guys would fuck up, and so we was like, look, yelling at your teammates isn't gonna like make them fuck up any less. it's not like you fuck up. You don't fuck up either.
Yeah.
That's really all we said to him. But I like that challenge we're working with. I mean, I like the whole challenge of it all, to be honest. I love everything about it. It was so. I don't know if Kevin's gonna do it again next year, but if he does, I'm probably gonna do it with him.
Well, I think playing basketball, you were always known for fundamentals, which made sense because your dad was a basketball coach, right?
He coached the team like once or twice, 1 or 2 years, yeah.
Oh, he seemed like it because he tried to help coach us our rec team.
God. That was bad.
So much. I just remember boxing out.
Yeah.
So much talk about boxing out
Yeah.
and letting other people get rebounds. Like,
Yeah.
but if everyone's boxing out, who's gonna get the rebound? But it makes sense. But yeah, I mean, is that what you focus on? What did you guys focus on with kids that age?
Boxing.
Like, you do, right? You have to do fundamentals.
Because the shot goes up. Their immediate instinct is just turn and look at the hoop, and the guy just runs right by him.
I get that.
And
I do that all the time.
And I mean, I get it. It's like, it's not something everyone wants to do because people, like, you're physical, you get beat up, but it's something that everyone has to do. And so that was definitely a point of emphasis. But no, it's mostly just a lot of fundamental stuff that we worked on in practice, just shooting, dribbling. It was frustrating because there would be stretches where we would play with teams. Like, we went to Ferndale. And they seriously got up on us like 18-0 at the end of the first quarter, and we outscored them the rest of the game. We outscored them by like 4 points, so they only beat us like 76-62, something like that. And that stuff like that would happen, where it's like we'd either come out flat, we couldn't get off the bus, we'd come out flat, or we'd hang with them, and then we'd be content that, we hung with the team, and then we'd come out flat in the second half and get blown out. So that was what was frustrating, is we'd have stretches where we'd look good, but we could just rarely sustain that for 4 full quarters. But there was definitely some potential there. But, we talked end of the season. We just said, I remember Brent just said, hey, we got better, guys. We definitely got better. And think about how much better we could have got if, we had worked all the last 12 months instead of just the last 3. So the hope is that they're going to come in and have a good offseason. And Kevin, since this is his second year, he gets to work with the 8th graders coming in this year. So when they do team camp during the summer and all that good stuff, he's going to get to start with them earlier. So that should be nice. But, we just said that was basically it. I just said, there was one kid on varsity named Dylan. He's about your size, Ricky. Probably not even as quick as you, to be honest. And I was like, you don't have to be 6'5" to throw down 6'5", throw down tomahawk dunks. You don't have to be able to do that to make varsity. And then one from Cole was like, it doesn't hurt. And then I was like, yeah, but you don't. And I was like, look at Dylan. He's like 5'7", 5'8". It's not very quick, not very explosive, and he plays. And I was like, why does he play? Because he can shoot. Because he can shoot. Shooting is a great equalizer. It really is. So that's just what I told him. If you guys, any one of you guys is capable of making it, but you have to understand the work you have to put in. Another Guerrero's kid is a junior. He's pretty fucking awesome. So he's going to be a senior next year. Yeah. But it was, for the most part, it was a good group of kids. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
Does it seem like how the way the NBA game is now, with like shit ton of 3-point shooting, affect them? Like, they all trying to shoot threes?
Not all of them. For the most part, they understand their role. When I started coaching years ago, I thought that was going to be the big thing. It's like trying to convince a guy what a good shot is and what a bad shot is, because you see a lot of that. Like, guys like Josh Smith in the NBA are just chuckers. I thought that was going to be the big.
That's why he's not in the NBA anymore.
Yeah, right.
He's in China, I think.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be the big thing, but it really wasn't. But I'd tell you one thing. So when you shoot, how do you shoot, Ricky? What's your form look like?
Like this.
Your hand a little off center.
Do you push with your offhand at all?
I noticed that I do. I'll spin it with my thumb a little bit.
Was I talking to you about that?
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit?
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, because I think you brought it up to me, Ricky, after you guys talked about it.
Yeah. There's basically an epidemic in youth right now where all the young kids want the 3-ball, because that's what they see. They see Curry, Durant, They see the warriors. That's what they all want. Well, when you shoot, you're not supposed to push with your guide hand at all. It's all in your strong hand. That's where all your push comes from. And so a lot of kids, when they're 5th, 6th grade, they don't have that. They can't shoot from 18 feet.
Yeah.
So what happens is they start to push with that off, and they get that thumb. And that's what you never want. And so we definitely saw that with some kids. And we tried to correct that. One kid shot us just completely fucked. He literally shoots like a volleyball set, like this.
Fuck.
And we worked with him the whole goddamn season. We still could not break him out of it. That was really frustrating. And
Changing your shot is super.
It is hard.
very
It is
difficult.
stupidly hard, and that's why we try to shy away from it for the most part. Because to break a guy's shot down, it is very risky and it's hard to do, especially in the middle of a season.
Yeah.
But
I retaught myself to shoot as an adult because as a kid I wasn't strong enough and I shot from really low, so I had gave myself basically a shot put. And so when I was an adult, I had to reteach myself to shoot from above my head because I would just get blocked all the time. Even though I was, because I was bringing the ball so low.
yeah,
But it makes me wonder. So in bowling, the sport got revolutionized. I don't know if you guys know. There's two-handed bowling now.
I've seen that.
And that started because a guy who was living in Australia, his parents owned the bowling alley, so he started bowling at a really young age. Well, he bowled when he was not strong enough to hold the ball in one hand, like 4 years old. And so he'd use two hands, and he pushed, and he learned to spin it that way. And so as he grew up, he just modified it. And so he invented two-handed bowling. So I wonder if you can't almost...
Well, I thought it used to be in bowling, you would do the 3 holes with your thumb, and then your two middle fingers.
Yeah.
But now it's like...
With two-handed bowling, you don't use your thumb at all.
Yeah.
You have the 2 fingers in there so that you can get the sideways...
Yeah. That's how I started doing it.
Torque on it. Well, that's how I do it.
Yeah. That still sucks. I never go, but...
So there's actually another version. So the two-handed bowling...
Don't you get more spin, like, doing it that way, too?
Yeah, so the old school guys hate it, because it says it's not fair, you get more torque. But there's two-handed bowling where you actually use your left hand is on the ball the whole time and spins it. But then they also call what I actually do palming, where you use your offhand to guide it on the way back, but then you let go and go forward the whole way with one hand, which gives you less control. Two-hand is better because your left hand, like you said, you have the guide hand the whole way and can more
We got it
consistent
down pretty
release.
good from all those Friday night bowlings.
I average like a 175 to 180.
You're actually a bowler now.
Yeah,
I've never been
I
able
own 2 bowling balls.
I can't thumb hold.
I'm not even in
Wow.
the league though.
When do you go bowling?
I subbed on my.
We
my
should
stepdad.
fucking join a fucking bowling league. God damn it.
Is this the moment?
Yeah, they have the spring league coming up again.
Have you been in a league before, Mac?
Yeah, me, Hook, Liz, and my brother-in-law, because Ricky
It was my
Ricky
idea
was
to start.
unreliable.
Yeah.
He didn't have money at the time, or your schedule's all of. There was all kinds of stuff going on. So my brother-in-law joined it, but we did the spring league, which is only 13 weeks. So I know we were talking about.
Do you go like head to head with a team every week?
Yes, you bowl against a team. You're always bowling on 2 lanes, so you sit in balls between the 2 lanes. So you get points whether you beat them. So you get a point each game for who wins, and then a point for the total for the 3 games, highest total. And then there's handicaps. So if you're bad, like me, Hook, Liz, and DJ, they all bowled between like Liz was around like right at 100. Hook was like 135 and DJ was like 125 most of the year. So our handicap was like huge. So other teams hated us, which was fun. Because you start getting like 250 pins. They're like, we have to make up 250 pins.
Was everyone like pretty good you played against?
No, there's definitely some people, because the other league.
What was the highest you ever saw someone bowl?
300.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah, there's a guy who bowled. Well, so
Jesus.
against us, it was a 297.
Oh,
Because
man.
the guy got a 9 on the very last ball.
Damn.
The very last ball. But somebody else bowled a
come we-
300 the first week.
Wow.
How did we not hear about this? Why wasn't it on the news?
It happens all the time.
I didn't know that. I
Riverside
thought it was.
Yeah.
I thought it was like the Simpsons
was
episode.
just
Where it's
gonna
like
say.
such a because I remember in
It fucks
Riverside.
your average.
In Riverside, they had it up on
Yeah,
that
there's a Hall
one
of
dude.
Fame.
I was like, oh, I thought that dude was like a legend or something who came in like bowled a 300 one time.
No, you
I
get
don't
like
know.
a ring, I think, too. They give you something.
Huh.
But no, yeah, there's some people. So the league that, so it was like 2 years ago that I started subbing for my stepdad because he went and started working in Alaska. And that league, the regular league, is like 33 weeks long.
Shit.
Wow.
So once a week. But if you get a team of like 5 and rotate, so then you don't have to go every week.
Yeah.
It makes it a little less. But
Yeah.
no, Hook and Liz definitely want to do it again. So we
Did you
forgot
ever,
last year.
You ever see anybody do a 710?
7-10
split.
Oh no, I haven't seen anyone pick that up.
I can't believe Otto pulled a 7-10 split. Marge,
That's-
you're missing the point.
I do
It
remember
was
seeing-
my chant that inspired the team to victory.
People don't actually
A
try to get it.
7-10 split.
So everyone thinks on
That's
7-10,
phenomenal.
you got to hit the outside of the pin and make it shoot across.
Yeah.
The way the pros do it is you actually hit the inside of the pin. You have a better chance if you hit the inside of one of the pins and knock it off the wall across. Because you can't really get to the outside of the pins because the gutter's there.
Yeah. So you hit the inside of the right pin.
Of either one, but yeah, at an
But
inside
hit it off
angle.
the wall, come back.
Yeah, they say
Yeah.
you have a much higher chance of getting it.
Yeah.
doing
That's
that.
how he does it in Kingpin.
Is that how he did it?
Great movie.
Great fucking.
So, all right. Speaking of competitions, Ricky wanted to. He last minute wanted me to be challenged against Brad on Game of Thrones, but it was too late. So I decided when we were talking about topics for you, Blair, one of the topics Ricky mentioned was Simpsons. So
Wait, hold up. Challenge against Brad about Game of Thrones?
So we were gonna do we normally play a game called Fan or Phony. And we'll do a trivia on a topic.
I'm down for Game of Thrones. Is it the series or the book?
Well, we did it with our last two guests, some Game of Thrones. So for
So you're out of Game of Thrones questions, is what you're saying?
Well, I didn't look any up. I didn't know you
Last
liked
ones
Game of
were
Thrones.
too easy.
Well, so my
swept
roommate's a history major, so he's big in history also. So he also has a very good memory for names and shit.
Uh-huh.
And I went through the questions and like did ones I thought were some challenging and some not, and he just nailed all of them. So it's like, damn it. So I gotta be better about that. Although Brad, on the ones we did for him, Brad only got about half.
Yeah.
And
I
he
would
was-
love if you brought in, because Darren and Hook have all read the books too.
Uh-huh.
Me, Darren, Hook, and Vag, bring us in. You can host Ricky. We'll do Game of Thrones or Song of Ice and Fire trivia. I guarantee I would kick all their fucking asses.
Dude, I'm terrible with the names. It kills me. Anytime a name is
I'm not
involved,
very good with the names either, but I bet I could smoke them.
Probably would. Well, so I'm going to do a
That's
Game
an
of
open
Thrones
challenge out. I
I'm
know
gonna
Kyle's
do a Game
listening.
of Thrones podcast for
Kyle,
the new
you-
season, and so I can definitely. I didn't know everyone who was in it. I knew Hook liked it and my old roommate, so I was going to ask you later here about shows and movies because you play games so much. I don't know if you have time for that type of shit, but yeah,
Do you do
you
them
guys
simultaneously,
have to
or
get you
do
and
you-
Darren on that podcast too. The first one we could try to do a mass one. I don't know if we have enough.
I don't watch the
microphones.
series anymore. So
Really?
yeah,
You're not going to catch up and watch the last season?
probably not, to be honest. I just kind of felt like I don't know. I thought they did a really good job initially. I just kind of felt like they did a disservice to a lot of the characters, and I just kind of felt like since I was going to read the books anyway, I was kind of like, what's the point?
A lot of
Although
people don't think he's going.
I don't think he's going to finish them either,
Yeah.
but I'm going to wait and see.
Sorry, Brandon Sanderson will finish it.
I'm going to wait and see.
No, yeah, I definitely am excited for the books to actually be able to read them, but I got to watch the last season at this point. But since Ricky mentioned wanting me to, he was gonna, last second have me challenge me against Brad. One of the topics he brought up on something you would know about for that Fan or Phony is The Simpsons. So I said, screw it. Why don't I pit you guys against each other on Simpsons?
Ooh.
So how it's gonna go is, I'll ask the question. You buzz in if you think you know with your name. So just say your name,
Yep.
and that's you buzzing
Yep.
in. This one has multiple choice. So I'll ask the question. If no one buzzes in, then I'll start slowly giving the multiple choice options
Okay.
until hopefully someone buzzes in. You only get one guess.
Got it.
Then the other person can wait till all the options and then guess.
Yep.
First to 5 points wins.
Oh, yep.
If you guys get to 5 really fast, then we can go longer. I have no idea how fast you guys will
How
get
many
these.
questions do you have lined up?
This thing has like 50. I think. Hopefully. It says it's the ultimate Simpsons quiz. Let's see. Scrolling to the bottom. There's question 37. Oh, yeah. It goes.
I never had any clue that
40
was how
questions.
Bart's hair was. I always thought it was like a ring around his head. Because you never see it from the top. Or when you do, it's like flat.
This is straight from like 1989.
Oh, that spikes all the way
Really?
across.
You've had that this whole time?
Yeah.
Wow, dude. That's probably worth some money at this point.
Oh, 1990.
Damn.
All right. Are you guys ready?
Who else? Is this prime time?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Primetime,
Must
Green
be
Man, and
the
Thanos. Yeah, we were looking for some more decorations
Prime time. Prime time.
for the studio.
Should have had you bring the Sabonis jersey.
We'll have to get the DeMontis Sabonis.
Shit.
I mean, DeMont. That's his
You
kid's
big
name,
Luka
right?
I can't. Who?
Luca?
Luka
It was
Doncic?
pretty good. My two favorite players right now are probably Westbrook and Lillard. I want to get jerseys for my nephews, but they're still too young to understand. But I tell you, so you know, Owen, the oldest one, he is like off the chart. He's literally off the charts for size.
No shit.
Yeah, his grandpa was fucking 6'9".
Damn.
He's off the charts.
That's awesome.
But I think his little brother is actually going to be the baller in the family. He's like 1.5. If there's a ball in the room, he's like going for it, and he's playing with it. I like cannot wait until he's old enough to play.
It's weird how when kids are young, you can tell. Like my 3 nephews, you can just tell which one's going to be what type of kid.
Yeah.
We're gonna go visit Uncle Blair. I don't want to go play basketball.
Yeah, I wish my sister lived closer so I could play basketball with my nephews. Apparently, none of them are into it. She tried when they were younger, and none of them care at all. They're just their dad's a big time soccer, so they're all soccer. None of them like baseball either.
Dang.
All right, you guys ready for the ultimate Simpsons quiz?
Let's do it.
Let's get it on.
Every once in a while, someone thinks they can defeat one of the Fairweather friends in trivia. When that happens, there's only one option. Friendly fight. Fight!
Which jazz musician teaches Lisa about the blues?
Ricky. Bleeding Gums Murphy.
Bleeding Gums Murphy is correct.
I was thinking about buzzing in, but it might be the teacher. What's the teacher's name?
Fuck. I don't even know the teacher's name.
Yeah.
I don't think that comes up in this. I don't know. There's a big description after, but
What is the teacher? Do you know?
I don't know.
Fuck.
yeah, you think he'd be the more famous one, or the one you know his name, since he's like actually a reoccurring character.
I think she's got the natural ability that she just bypassed him.
Oh God, this one's definitely going to be a who buzzes in the fastest. Who shot Mr. Burns?
Blair. Maggie.
Maggie is correct. I was like, I knew that one, so I was like, you guys definitely all know it. Yeah, we might have to go to 10 the way these are going. Which local hero's statue does Bart decapitate?
Blair. Jodiah Springfield.
Yeah, these ones aren't that hard. I
They're
didn't
really not.
I didn't read through
Hans
these.
Sprungfield.
Plus high.
All right, question 4. What does Shelbyville steal
Ricky.
from Springfield?
Aww.
These aren't that hard.
Get it back. Our trips are with our dad.
We're at dead heat, though.
If you excuse me, all this argument made me hungry.
I really should have looked through these. Actually, I looked through one of the other ones.
Now let's all celebrate with a nice glass of turnip juice.
This is what it sounds like when doves cry.
Well, I specifically searched for classic because I didn't want the last couple seasons that I don't think any of us have watched.
I watched a couple. They redid the Pin Pals. I watched that one.
Oh,
Yeah.
how was that?
I think Barney was in the team instead of Burns.
I remember I read this, and I don't know. I have so many mixed feelings, but Matt Groening is on the record of saying if they had kept doing it the way they were doing it, the show would have died. Which I didn't really understand. But it's I would have rather had seen it die
Exactly.
than continue on with this.
I've been seeing that more and more
abomination.
lately. People kind of maybe it's time for it to go
But
away.
I don't know. I have so many mixed feelings because Groening, he could have made all the money he's made off The Simpsons, which is just an exorbitant amount.
Yeah.
He could have made even more had he manufactured Duff beer.
Mm-hmm.
You know why he didn't do it?
Because of the Pills of Children?
Because he knew a bunch of kids would have drank it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, clearly he has a moral compass, but, fucking A. And I could not, I was so, them banning Apu was the last straw.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
fucked up.
God. I still haven't watched that document. I probably should.
I can't watch it.
I don't think I could watch it either. But,
Wait, they made a documentary
Stereotype-
about Apu getting...
That's the start of the whole controversy.
this fucking douchebag
Yeah, this Indian
decided he was going to make a documentary and it called The Problem with Apu. Talking
I
about...
did hear about that. I didn't realize it was a documentary.
Yeah.
I just thought it was an article.
Just saying how he's a stereotype. Well, yeah.
So is everybody
No.
on the show.
So is everybody on the show.
Homer's a
show me...
stereotype.
There's stereotypes in every TV series you watch. And stereotypes exist for... And, stereotypes exist for a reason. Stereotypes are real. But if you're... He is, one of the most positive
No shit.
stereotypes. You have a fucking fat, lazy police chief, a corrupt mayor...
The
the whole season, it's they've talked about this in the commentaries on the DVDs about like how everything's a stereotype, but it's such an over-the-top stereotype. That's what makes it funny.
Yes, exactly.
Like, and now you're like backpedaling on this. Them doing that basically, like.
Shouldn't the school janitor, the Irish, shouldn't the Irish
Right?
be way more mad
Right?
about that?
That's like way more.
What about Dr.
demonizing?
Nick Rivera? The lazy Mexican.
Oh yeah,
Actually,
yeah,
cool?
like a crooked Mexican.
Yeah.
Like fuck, there's so many like worse than that. Like how is this gonna be the one that you, like fucking A? And it just it almost like is them saying like yeah, all the seasons he was on were just kind of racist. So if you liked him, you're a racist. That's how I felt. Like
Well, and it also just sends a message that all you gotta do is complain, and it's
right.
like,
I mean, I understand the position they're coming from is they just don't want to deal with the backlash, but it's like your show is such an abomination it's a great show of all time, in my opinion. I'm talking even for seasons like 3 to 7. Those 5 seasons alone make it the greatest show of all time.
Can't argue.
And
And well, at first Groening just disregarded it, and then there's even more backlash upon him.
yeah, they hate it when you stay silent on something.
Well, he put in a little nod to it, and everybody's like, "This is how you're gonna respond. This is all you're gonna do," and then they just kept getting bigger and bigger until finally.
Yet we still have a professional football team called the Washington Redskins. We're fine with that. All right. Question 5. For which baseball team does Homer become the mascot?
oh, Blair, Capital City Goofballs.
It is not.
Well, it's the Springfield Isotopes first, but then he transfers to the Capital City Goofballs.
Yep.
All right, I'm giving you credit for it. Well, wait, let me make sure. Yes, let me click on the isotopes, make sure that is correct. Yep, Springfield Isotopes. Jeez, more detail
Capital
than
City
needed.
Might have had the goofball.
Unfortunately,
was
there's no
mascot,
bonus
for
points.
Oh, maybe they weren't. What were they called? The Goofball was the mascot.
Yeah, I don't remember what they're called.
I don't remember what they're called either.
Maybe it explains in this.
I looked that up later.
Before
What was that,
long, he
season
was
1?
wanted in Capital City,
Season
allowing
1
him
or
to
2, yeah.
dance for sports fans all throughout whatever state Springfield is in.
Dancing Homa.
So it was definitely he went to Capital City, but they don't mention the team name.
Didn't they reveal that it's actually Oregon? Or that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's where Groening, he grew up close to there or in, Springfield, Oregon. Yeah, what town? So many jokes. I love those jokes back in the day.
This one might be a little tougher. Maybe not though. Who took Marge to her high school prom?
Blair, Artie Ziff.
See, I wonder if the name might be hard to think of. Yes, Artie Ziff. Rookie Blair's got a 2-point lead now.
Voiced by John Lovitz.
I think we got to go to 10 points.
What other characters are John Lovett's voice?
The critic.
Yep.
That doesn't count. Does that count?
Yeah, that counts.
Why wouldn't it?
The cult guy. He was the leader of a cult.
Ooh, was that him? Good. He speaks so rarely. He only has like a couple of lines.
Maybe it wasn't him.
I know he had one more character.
Characters voiced by John Lovitz. There's actually 6 listed.
Oh.
Artie Ziff, Jay Sherman, Llewellyn Sinclair, Miss Sinclair,
Who's that?
I don't know.
this doesn't go into details, but Enrico Irritazio and Professor Lombardo. Let's see.
Oh, yeah. You know
Oh,
Professor Lombardo. That was the art teacher that Marge had.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Please, Marge, I don't take praise very well.
They have pictures, but that's all. It doesn't really show.
Fuck. Who was the cult guy?
We're definitely gonna have to go to the first of 10 because I thought there may be some questions that neither of you guys got, so it might take longer. But Blair's already at 4.
Shit.
All right.
I better just say the first word.
Which highly controversial character voiced by Homer is added to Itchy and Scratchy?
Ricky.
Oh,
Poochie.
damn it.
Was it Poochie? I was looking at the multiple choice options and I thought that was looked right. It doesn't show
You
me the
look
answer
like you
until I
have
click.
something to say. Poochie? I have to go now. My planet needs me.
Jeez. See, these wouldn't be easy though for casual fans, for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Casual fans aren't fans, Ricky.
So I should have done much harder questions for Game of Thrones on Ryan, but all right. What is Homer's long lost brother's name?
Ricky. Herb.
Oh, damn. Nice. I couldn't
Herb
think of
Powell. That's one of the options. It is correct.
Voiced by Danny DeVito.
it. Danny DeVito.
Nice.
No problem, Monkey Herb. This piece of crap cost $70,000. I'm ruined. All right, Herb. I'll give you the money, but you have to treat me with the love and respect as you would a brother. Nope. All right, then just give me the drinking bird. This is such a brilliant invention. You'll make millions. Homer, this isn't the invention. Hey, he's gone back for more. Take him off the table.
I want to make a.
Sorry, Rag. You know what you're getting yourself into.
I love it. It's great.
Life-size Homer, the car, but on the inside you play Simpsons Hit and Run, but it's like a arcade booth kind of.
In a car?
They actually made the car?
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I want to do. But
I think I saw someone actually did make the car.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, you know they made the house.
Yeah. I remember that. It was a Pepsi giveaway.
Yeah, and it was like you can either have the house or take a shitload of money, and they took the money.
Take the elephant.
Well, I remember thinking what a fucking asshole, who wouldn't take the house? But then they showed it, and I was like, oh yeah, you totally couldn't live in that shit. you'd be there for 15 minutes, how the fuck am I gonna live in this fucking thing? What's the name of the room in the back of the house that sometimes is in there, but sometimes isn't? Remember when they get a radioactive man? And Marge's like, homie, it's really coming down. You're checking the boys. He's in that beanbag chair. He looks up. They're fighting. He's like, yeah, they're fine. You know what that room's called? It's called the Rumpus Room.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's sometimes it's in there, sometimes it's not. I love that. They're like, yeah, they're fine.
I can picture him sitting in the chair.
Yeah.
The Rumpus Room, like at the Playboy Mansion? All right, question 9. This is a fill in the blank. No TV, or it's 2 blanks.
Ricky. No TV,
Oh.
no beer. Big over, go. Fuck. Something.
That's
Go
it.
crazy?
Make Homer.
Something.
You said go crazy?
Go
But that's how
crazy.
it goes. Go something. Go crazy. Don't mind if I do.
It is go crazy. No TV and no beer make Homer go crazy. Jeez.
What's that you say? You can live without TV as long as you have beer? Yeah, that's right. Wrong. As of this point, all dump trucks are being rerouted from Springfield. And if any of you beer-selling slack-jawed gawkies have any problem with this, talk to Homer Simpson. Doorbell rings immediately. Party. Homer, give him what he wants.
Oh, I don't feel like I need to binge. Do they have any
You can watch, if you have Xfinity, you can watch it.
Oh, yeah.
on Xfinity? Is that the
Yeah.
only place that has all the seasons?
Got
Not
a
on
couple.
Who might have it?
I've got a couple on DVD. You have to get FXX.
Oh. Goddamn FXX. It was the worst idea
This
ever.
is a real... Oh, they just called Time. I think Kalen got it.
So in the X-Wing that we've been streaming, Galen's the one you knew, right?
Kalen.
Didn't we
Kalen?
go out at 0-0?
What?
Didn't the stream go out at 0-0?
No, the score was 24-0. But Mike Croft was winning 24-0, and he looks like he lost 82-121.
Well, they're still rolling dice, so... But I think...
So
I
this
think
is the final
Kalen's-
turn, then.
I think Kalen's got it.
Is this like extra time soccer? It just rolls and they keep
So
going.
it's like... Once the time ends, that's the final round. So they finish the round, and then whoever's up on points at the end is over.
So we're watching the exciting dice rolling. But it's Kalen's got 4
Yep,
ships.
Kalen got it.
Oh, looks like Kalen won.
So
They shook hands.
He made the cut.
Great sportsmanship.
Made the cut for what?
So this is called what they call a system open. They do roughly 12. They do about one a month in North America, and so this one's in Toronto. And so there's probably going to be a cut to either top 32 or top 16. And if you make top 8, you get an invite to Worlds in November. And I think if you win it, you get they pay for your flight and your hotel room to Worlds.
Damn, that's
So.
crazy.
Free vacation.
Where's World?
Well-
Minnesota?
Minneapolis, so still not that great.
Mall of America. I had to stay the night there once because our plane, we got snowed in
Is it
Minnesota.
during NBA or no?
What?
Is it during the NBA season?
November. I think that's during the start
It's right
of the
after it
season. I
starts, yeah.
think.
You ever go catch a Timberwolves game?
I was there in November. They weren't playing, but the city is pretty cool because it's always as cold as shit there, you know.
Yeah.
And so I went there with like my 2 roommates this one year. We were there for like 4 days, and one day there was nothing going on at the FFG Center, so we just went into town, and we're walking around, and there's like no one on the streets. It's just like every now and then we'll see someone smoking a cigarette, but that's it. We're like, what the fuck's going on? And then we realize, like, the entire downtown for like an 8-block square radius, they're on the second floor of every building. There's a sky walkway.
Oh, nice.
So that's what everyone walks through the town on.
That's crazy.
No one like walks around on the streets. So that's why everyone was smoking, because you can't smoke when you're in there.
So it's like Futurama.
So the only people outside are smokers.
Well, you can't fucking.
Well, I know.
It's a lot
You get
slower,
there.
but but we ended up right outside. What is it? The TD Garden or I can't remember. Target Center. That's it. We ended up right outside there, so I got one of those Timberwolves warm-up jerseys, and then it was right after Flip Saunders passed,
Oh.
so they had a big board of people just writing. So I went and wrote something on there.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Flip was a good coach.
yeah.
Isn't his son still at the helm?
As a coach?
Coach of Minnesota, yeah.
I don't think so.
He's been the interim ever since.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Don't know.
Yeah, they fired Tibbs, and because they showed the video of he got his first win, and they showered him in the.
It is
Did you see
Ryan Saunders.
Do you see the Chris Bosch interview with Bill Simmons?
Yeah, listen to that.
It's like Kevin Garnett called him mama's boy one time. He said it like shook him to his core, and he just stayed up all night thinking about it.
I didn't listen to that one. Maybe I should go back and listen to it.
Oh my god.
Chris Bosh is actually good.
Oh, he was. He's a great interview. He's a great player too.
Yeah, he
He
was.
really was.
It was kind of sad that he never got to have his last stand with the Heat.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to that.
Yeah, right after he signed that like 4-year deal too.
They would have
he
been
was-
good. Dragic, Wade, Bosch,
Whiteside
Whiteside. That would have been a good team.
would have been interesting. Yeah, with
But
Bosch
Dion
to spread the
Waiters?
floor. Dion,
Waiters.
Waiters Island.
Waiters Island.
All right, Ricky's got a 5-4 lead. We'll do it to 10. That went way faster than I expected, which is great. So question 10. Which superheroes comic book do Bart...
Radioactive Man.
I believe that's probably correct. That is correct. I feel
goggles.
smart because I see the multiple choice options and I'm usually right. I'm pretty sure which one is correct when I see them. But if I had to come up with them off the top of my head, not a chance. All tied at 5. This is great. All right, what video game does Bart get caught stealing?
Ricky,
Ricky?
Bone Storm.
Oh, damn. Nice. No.
Bone Storm it is.
That's bullshit. It's Lee Corvino's fighting challenge. I suggest Feather Light Touch. You have selected Power Drive. You landed in the parking lot. Would you like to play again? You have selected no.
I always thought it was the guy from Happy Gilmore, Lee.
Oh.
Lee Corso?
No, he's
Not Lee
he's the
Corso.
basketball-
Lee.
He's the one that shakes his head whenever he says Chris Adams had a beard.
Yeah, Lee. Oh shit! Why can't I think of his name? Lee
Lee
Trevino.
That was it. Lee
Yeah.
Corvino, not
Yeah.
Lee Corvino.
No, it is. You were right,
No.
but I thought it was Lee Trevino.
No. Fuck, what a great fucking episode. God. Marge, is Lisa at Camp Granada? So I cry, save us now! She complains now when we go to take her home, she won't want to leave.
That was supposed to be the first movie
What?
where they go to camp.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, God. What a great fucking episode.
that was.
Oh, a snake bit me. Back in line, maggot. And one of the cameras even eaten by a bear. Oh, my God! Well, actually, the bear only ate his hat. Was it a good hat? Oh, yeah.
All right.
Don't be the boy. Don't be the boy. Bart, don't. His hair falls out. Gut immediately expands.
I think you've lost a few people on these Simpsons references.
Oh man,
All right. What alias does Marge assume when answering calls for Reverend Lovejoy?
Ricky, the listen lady.
Is it the listen lady? It is the listen
Damn.
lady.
Well done, Ricky.
I'm
I keep waiting for you guys to get one wrong, and
I'm
I
like,
get to start reading the multiple choice options. I haven't read a single like multiple choice option.
I'm 5 seasons deep on the Four Finger Discount podcast, so I've been listening. To
What do
that.
they do?
They just basically review it.
And, like each episode one at a time, or
Yeah,
Oh damn, that's definitely you've been like,
but they're Australian, so it's from the Australian point of view.
and yet this wasn't even Ricky's idea. This was mine. All right, who plays the man Homer meets at a psychiatric facility?
Ricky. Michael Jackson uncredited.
Yeah, they just put Michael Jackson.
Who plays the band Homer meets?
Man.
Oh, I thought you said band. I was like,
too, and
fuck.
I was like, psychiatric. It's gotta
Oh,
be Jackson.
damn.
Lisa. They redid that song too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And they brought that guy back, whatever his name was. I don't remember his name from the episode.
It was actually Michael Jackson that did the voice.
Yeah, but they brought him back with
They brought the character
voice,
back.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder who did the voice of him at the end.
I didn't look.
It'd be interesting looking up. Probably wouldn't know who the hell they are. All right. What doll does Lisa collect before...
Blair. Malibu Stacy?
It is. Malibu Stacy. Before it learns how to talk.
Thinking too much gives you wrinkles.
Fuck, everybody's in the store and then Smithers. I gotta get it. It's mine. It's mine. Push him all the way.
I want it. One of the greatest scenes of all time. I fucking thought this was hilarious when I was in 5th grade. And to this day, I still think it's hilarious. And here we are on the production floor. Some people might say there's a little bit of pixie dust in the air. All the guys just screwing the heads on. All of a sudden on a conveyor belt. It's crap. There's a clog in the torso chute. There's a clog in the torso chute. Leroy, get your ass in gear. Shut your hole. Jams a broom up in there. Fucking yes. Oh, God damn
Shut
it.
your hole.
I feel like this is getting more obscure, but also still pretty easy. Where does Ned Flanders sell left-handed accessories?
Blair? The Leftorium?
It is. I saw that answer. I was like, it's got to be the Leftorium, right?
There's teenagers around and they're circling.
This has been a roller coaster.
What's the score?
Ricky's up 8-7.
Oh.
You got up by 3, and then you've come back. You were up 2, and then he got 4 in a row. All right. Which former president moves across the
Blair.
street?
Fuck!
George Bush. Well, it could
Should
have
I-
been Gerald Ford.
Wait, more specific?
George H.
Yeah. Technically it's H.W. Bush, but everyone just says H or W.
Hi. Say, Homer, do you like beer? Yes, Mr. Ford. Do you like nachos?
That's the first appearance of Disco Stu.
Really?
Because his
Might have been.
Homer, you Disco Jack.
Yeah.
It's supposed to say Disco Stu,
Dude,
but I ran out of room.
you should totally buy that. Disco Stew. It's not advertised. Now, are there any more questions? Keeping in mind that I already explained about my hair.
Blair, I just got a text message from Kyle Hooker to invite you to the fights Saturday night.
Next Saturday?
Yeah, it's upcoming. So yeah, 1 week from today.
I'm not going to be here.
Sorry, Hook. Blair's not going to be here. You'll hear this sometime. Corey may be back. He's a hard maybe. Valador, I guess me and Valador are the only yeses.
I can run over after work. Probably.
After 9?
Yeah,
It'll be done. Probably. By the time you walk there, yeah, that fight will be over.
Yeah.
All right, question 17. What's the secret ingredient in a flaming
Blair.
Homer/Mo?
Did I get it?
Take it.
I didn't hear Ricky.
Krusty Brand cough syrup?
Wow, more specific than necessary. Cough syrup would have done.
I got hooked on this stuff in the service.
Mo.
Not 9 to 8.
Remember the musical guest in that one?
Aerosmith.
Was it Aerosmith?
Unless there were
Red Hot
multiple
Chili
ones.
Peppers and,
No, that was Krusty's comeback special
was
when
it U2?
no, YouTube was when Homer becomes the garbage.
Yeah, that's right.
yeah.
Tell you when your ass is showing.
They didn't have that in the explanation after the answer. All right, so it's 9 to 8. So either we're playing to 10 or just doing all 40 questions. It's most rats. What secret organization does Homer
Blair.
learn?
Stonecutters.
This is the reason why I became friends with Blair in the first place.
The Stonecutters. Damn, 9 to 9. I'll finish asking the question for those of you. What secret organization does Homer learn he was predestined to lead?
There are only 2 ways to become a member. You must either be a family member of a stonecutter or save the life of a stonecutter. That saved your life. The cholesterol in the egg salad sandwich that killed you. Actually, that's not true, Homer. See, it hasn't proven that cholesterol exists in eggs. It's not proven that actually raises cholesterol level in your body. So the Meg Hansel guy's gotten you too, Homer. You got it all wrong, Homer. Runs off.
And then they're sitting at dinner. I'm a member. Hey, Dad, remember those classes I went to ignore Grandpa?
So I guess this is the question for all the marbles.
Ooh.
Yep.
I'll try to ask it as quick as possible. What TV show do Patty and Selma watch religiously?
Ricky.
Oh,
Oh my God.
damn
I
it. God.
MacGyver.
Tonight, I'm MacGyver. MacGyver. Aunt Selma has 1 hour to live. Hey, down in front.
God, I want to find one of these you guys might not know the answer to. You guys got to know this. What barbaric holiday does everyone in Springfield except Lisa love
Whacking Day?
celebrating?
Oh, whacking day, oh, whacking day.
This one, I feel like this one might be tough, but probably not at all. Which of the following characters was not a member of the B Sharps?
Oh, no, I guess I won't know until you.
Yeah.
I can name the cat. Actually, go ahead.
Well, if you want, if you
No.
can name all four, then I'll tell you.
Well,
what's going on here
one of
you
them got
didn't name.
kicked. William got kicked out. So then the lineup became Barney, Principal Skinner, Homer, and Apu.
It is.
Yep.
And they had Mo on here. Was the one who was not. I can see the picture, so it shows. It's super fuzzy though. Clearly, it's Barney, Skinner, Apu, and
Tear
Homer.
gas at the end.
Oh, fucking great episode. Isn't Homer's home? I'll kill us all. Ah! I was talking about the statue.
I told asshole. No, that was on the last episode.
Who does Homer work for without realizing he's a supervillain?
Hank Scorpio. That's another great episode.
Oh, that's my brother's favorite of all time. The flamethrower. That's collapse on its own. You have 12 hours. I didn't give you my jacket. I was wearing it backwards.
This one might actually be tough for you guys to remember the name if I don't give you the options. Who is the coworker that nearly causes Homer to cheat on Marge?
Mindy.
Oh, Mindy.
Mindy Simmons.
Yeah,
Simmons.
Jeez.
The,
My
one of
vacation away from worky. Stop that. All I'm going to use for his bed is eating, sleeping, maybe build a little fort, but that's it.
All right, if you guys get this one, I'll be very impressed. What is the name of Hans Moleman's film festival entry?
Man getting hit in the groin by football.
Doink.
No. And the Oscar goes
You
to...
added groin, man getting hit by football.
Ah.
But damn.
And the Oscar goes to... I've got to win this one. I've bribed everyone in Hollywood. George C. Scott and man getting hit by football. My groin. Don't cry for me. I'm already dead. Beautiful. He has the soul of a poet. You're very kind. Excuse me. Did something crawl in the throat and die? It didn't die. My name is Barney and I'm an alcoholic. Mr. Gumble, this is a Girl Scout meeting. Is it? Or is it that you girls can't admit you have a problem? Oh, God. So incredible.
What was the name of Abe Simpson's military unit?
The Flying Hellfish.
I've been torn between a flying hellfish tattoo or a stonecutter's tattoo. Flying hellfish.
If you get a Flying Hellfish, are your biceps both clean or do you already have
No,
them?
I got one right here.
Oh.
Well, no, wait. I don't got anything over here.
If you get a Flying Hellfish tattoo, I might be tempted to get one, Ricky.
Oh man, that's
I gotta look at the picture again. That'd be
great
pretty
picture.
sweet.
He's flexing. He's got a scar.
It's such so fuzzy on here, on the tattoo he's got, but it's like a Godzilla looking thing, basically doing this. His
Yep.
fist up.
Red
The
fish.
red, yeah. It's so fuzzy, it looks like a Godzilla looking thing. Alright, the very last question on here is on which sketch show did The Simpsons make their debut?
Tracy Ullman show?
Wow. It should, I don't feel like it should be that easy of a question.
She didn't like it either. Did you watch that round table that Conan did with the other three writers? One of them said she fucking hated it.
Oh fuck! I gotta watch.
Yeah, Conan
Crudely
O'Brien was a
drawn-
writer
drawn
on
when they
The
did
Simpsons.
Tracy Ullman with her late night sketches and their crudely drawn cartoons.
138th episode special.
God, if Phil Hartman never died.
Man. Well, I was watching, a thing on YouTube where it's basically just what went wrong. And, they showed, if you look at IMDb, like season 7 is the highest rated season of all time. It's going up, 7, and then down. And
And they're on what?
If
20 or 30, did they get to 30 yet?
they're almost to 30. Yeah. And they show like all the writers from season 6, and by season 12, they're like all gone. Like every single one of them.
Well, the theory is now that everybody that's writing on the show was a fan back in the day.
At this point, it makes sense.
I believe it. Yeah.
And they're all just now bringing back all the old stuff.
Well, any other topics you guys wanted to talk about? Anyone want to make any hard political stances? Talk religion?
Who do you think's going to win the NBA title?
I mean, can anyone really beat the Warriors?
I think
in a 7-game series.
I think it's hard to say because I think Houston could have done it last year if Paul Hine got hurt. But I think if ever they were going to lose it with the 3 years they've had Durant, this is the year. I think that the thing that happened with him and Draymond, I think it's pretty glaringly obvious he's leaving at the end of the year, no matter what happens.
He's very, very frustrated by getting asked it constantly.
Yeah.
I think
I
think
too.
all that stuff hanging over.
His management company just moved to New York as well.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing LeBron's management company did
I
before
didn't
he
see
went to LA.
that. Yeah, LeBron also bought a second house in LA, like 3 months before the season ended.
I've been listening to a lot of Jalen and Jacoby, and they said Katie put on purchasing property in New York too.
Which is like, why would he go to New York?
Just
to be in New York?
NBA
That's the
players
ultimate-
Still think of the New York as like
that's the basketball
Mecca.
mecca.
Yeah,
But
it's
really
like,
has
if
been
he
like
comes
not
back
a
to
successful.
win-
but like, would you
franchise.
really want to play for Dolan? Like, really?
He's gonna get the well.
Dolan might be selling.
Bill
we don't know.
Simmons, the Bill Simmons rumor that Dolan has it on the block, but they
Why would
don't.
he sell?
They immediately.
It's such a cash cow.
But it's the Knicks and not MSG. MSG is owned by a separate group, so they think they're saying no sale right now, but they already have KD and maybe somebody else in place.
But even if he goes, they don't even have Porzingis, who was like the one thing that maybe.
Well, the
would,
thought is that Kyrie would also go, and they're going to have a high pick this year, so it's either going to be Zion or
man,
Reddish.
that just seems like a huge risk. Remember when Elton Brand went to the 76ers because Baron Davis promised that he would go there too, and he backed out at the last second after Brand signed there?
No,
yeah, I do remember that.
it was the other way around. Didn't Brand back out?
No, Brand was on the Sixers for. Well, Brand did a tour after that.
Baron
Was it the
Davis never went to the
Sixers or
76ers.
was the-
Yeah, Baron never played on the Sixers though.
Okay, I was for some reason it was the other way around. That Brand is the one who backed out. But
Didn't
no,
Brand
I
get
remember
drafted
that.
by the Sixers though?
Or maybe Brand was going to re-sign with
It
the
was with the-
Clippers. Maybe
Yeah,
that was
I think
it.
it was the Clippers.
Oh, yeah, he did get drafted
Yeah.
by the Clippers.
And then
Yeah.
instead he went to the 76ers.
He went to Sixers instead, yeah. So, yeah, I don't know.
It's crazy he's a GM now.
I know,
That's showing
like,
our
he
age
was
again.
literally playing for that team like 2 years ago as an active player.
So you think if Golden State is beatable? They
Well, I don't know if anyone in the West can beat them.
They're gonna get upset by the
What
Broncos.
about
But
the Thunder
I think-
team? Seems
I think
like they know what they are, and they
The
might,
Thunder?
Yeah, and they might get Roberson back, which really only
I
helps
s-
on defense. Guy
I,
can shoot.
their depth is
Well, they don't
still
need- they don't
shit.
need offense.
And Westbrook has had a really bad shooting year.
Terrible, like career lows.
PG has put in like a fucking MVP for performance.
Although both of them just scored over 40.
And and Westbrook, like he could turn it on at the drop of a hat. So it's like it's not far fetched to think he could have an explosive series and just go off. I think they could.
He's actually averaging career highs in assists and rebounds this year.
Westbrook?
Yeah.
I believe it, but
For a guy
his
who's
shooting
averaged a
is
triple-double
completely.
for almost
I believe
3
it,
full
but
years.
his shooting
It's
is
crazy.
completely. He's had like the worst shooting performance of like his entire career, basically.
No, yeah, and it's never been great.
If the Soups were still here, would you be a big Westbrook guy going down to cheer for him all the time?
I am a big Westbrook guy already, but yeah,
That's what I was saying.
I would totally go down to fucking Sonics games.
That
if he
would
was-
have been the perfect scenario.
Him
for
and
us.
Lillard are probably my two favorite active players.
You don't
Lillard's
see
a beast.
Lillard much. He just still doesn't get his due. And he's not on national
He
television very
forces
often
his
at all.
way into the conversation though. They're like 4th seed. They were 3 or 4 seed last year. 2 seed actually.
Yeah, but they got swept as the
Man.
4 seed.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, but Davis, that just
In the second round, right? They got swept.
no first round.
First round, yeah.
Oh yeah, they were the 3. It was the 3-6 match.
How about LeBron saying he's the greatest of all
there
time
too.
for beating the Warriors?
He's not even better than Kobe.
It's just,
Wow, what a shock you would say that, Ricky.
I was gonna ask how many people think LeBron is better than how many high schoolers think LeBron is better than Jordan.
probably all. Of them.
Funny thing, they would say that to Kevin. I think actually one of them did say that to Kevin.
Ooh.
And I can't remember if like they were saying it just because they knew Kevin was like all in on Jordan. But I remember Kevin got like visibly pissed, agitated that one of them like said that. But I think if LeBron, I think he's got to get one more. I think if he gets one more, I think you can make an argument that he's on the same level as Jordan.
Because I mean, he went to
Can't
it
miss the
10
playoffs this year.
and won 4.
But he went to 10. But how many of those was he favored in? Jordan was favored every time. How many
he
of
was
those?
probably favored all 4 years in Miami, and they only won 2 of those.
He wasn't favored the last year by Vegas odds. It wasn't huge.
Against the Spurs?
The last year against the Spurs, they weren't favored.
Yeah, I was just
it
saying,
wasn't.
the
They
Spurs-
weren't a huge. It was like 55-45.
Yeah.
I would
But-
say it had to be close. You got 3
Yeah.
All-Stars. But that first year when they lost to the Mavericks, like, what?
They were not. Yeah, they were heavily favored that series.
And that was the year that people didn't expect them to win it, but then they got down to it, and you're like, oh, wait, now maybe they should. They started like 8-9 that
Gotta
year.
love Dirk.
That's probably the most impressive championship in the last 20 years, I'd say.
Yeah, because I mean, really, it was a makeup year because
Lakers
Dirk and
beat the
them,
Celtics.
when they were the number 1 seed, they got upset.
Right.
First ever 1 seed to get upset, and then
People-
in 2006 they should
You know
have
what's
beat Miami
crazy?
and Wade, and didn't.
Tim Legler said they weren't even going to make the playoffs that year because they lost in 5 to New Orleans the year before.
Ouch.
Everyone and the year before that, yeah, they lost to the Warriors in the first round when they were the 1 seed. Everyone thought they were just done. How crazy! And they win the fucking title. That's what the difference was. It was fucking Tyson Chandler. He was really the difference on that team that year.
Yeah, that's why no one could
So,
believe
yeah, they
they let
swept the
him
Lakers.
walk away right after that.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't healthy in New Orleans. Yeah. Yeah, they got him for nothing, and he was really the difference the whole year. Like the other thing too, fucking Deshaun Stevenson, and he was just a throw-in, and it was like some trade they made. I can't remember who. It was the Devin Harris trade, I think. He was just like a throw-in that they didn't even think was going to play, and he ended up being like their big-time 3-and-D guy. He was huge for them the whole season. Like even the fucking finals, he was hitting big shots. But I think LeBron's got to get one more. If he gets one more, I think you can make an argument that he's on Jordan's level.
What if he misses the playoffs this year?
It's just so hard that he can't even get back to like a 500 record in the finals.
He could have.
Like he technically could, but it's not. He'd have to go to 3 more and win all 3. Like
Yeah.
it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So no matter what, pretty much he's going to end his career with a losing record in the finals. And yeah, he's not favored, but I mean, I don't know. By the time Jordan got good enough to go there, he was always favored. Once they got over the bad boy Pistons, which with LeBron it was against also the Pistons
But
and Celtics.
LeBron, to be fair,
His first finals appearance, he never should have got there. That was super impressive with the Cavaliers.
Yeah.
Got there against the Spurs, got swept.
but as good as the teams that Jordan went up against, like he didn't have to play any super teams like the Warriors. Like
Yeah, but
That's
LeBron
true.
also kind of had a super team. He went to Cleveland to play with Love and Irving. Well, Irving knowing Love would come.
yeah, but
It's not like he was him and 5
That was
random
year
guys.
before KD, right?
Yeah, so he played the
That's not even a
Warriors.
super team anymore.
He played the Warriors twice. Won one, or lost the first one. Won the second one. The second one was when they had the 73-win team and went down 1-3, and came back and won. Those were without Durant. And
Yep.
then with the 2 with Durant, they got killed.
Yeah.
Not killed, but
they got killed.
but it wasn't a super team. I mean, the 73-win team, you still can't even say it was a super team.
Yeah,
It was 3 guys that team drafted and developed.
Yeah,
but I mean,
Yeah, they were the record-setting team, but also the Rockets years ago set like second
Mariners.
most wins in a row. They weren't.
Mariners
I
set
mean,
the record, and they got
yeah, the
blasted by
Mariners
the
tied
Yankees.
the record for wins, and no one ever expected them to win the championship. even.
baseball's a lot different, though. I think baseball. I think there's more of a propensity.
The
to
only
have
real
upsets.
super team was these last 2 years, really, with Durant.
I agree.
So what, 3 and 4 against everyone else?
Well, so the first year he gets a pass. There's no way.
First one,
They
yeah,
shouldn't
he
even
was
got
like his
there.
third year in.
Yeah. Second year they should have won.
Spurs.
Well, basically in Miami, he goes 2-2. Probably should have gone 3-1.
Should be Dallas.
I would say so, with Wade and Bosch in their primes, and
I'd say he's like
Ray
500. I would say he's like 500 in the finals.
Speaking of podcasts, did you listen to Zach Lowe with Dirk Nowitzki?
I have not listened to that one
That's a
yet.
good one.
Yeah.
He tells the story of that whole finals experience. Yeah.
I should. I'm catching up. I'm like, wait. I just listened to the one when he had the dude from Toronto, Pascal Siakam, on. Yeah.
I don't know. The biggest thing is with Jordan, if he was in the finals, he was favored no matter what, and he won. Like, just for the fact that he's on the team, automatically favored. LeBron, that's not the case.
LeBron's going against 4 All-Stars though.
Only
Like,
in the last 2.
Yeah. Well, what was it? So what was the record before the last 2?
3-4. So he was losing, and now he's 3-6 in the finals. He's been to nine finals. He went 1 in Cleveland
he was
early, and then
he
8
was
in a
3
row.
and 4. In 2 of those, he basically had no chance though. So I would say he was 3 and 2.
And you could also argue the only reason he made it to 8 in a row was because he was in the East, which has clearly been terrible compared to the West in the last decade.
But if you look back at Jordan, the East was worse when he was there too.
Of the 20 greatest players, 14 or 15 have been in the West over the last decade. He was in the East, but at the time, I mean, was the East as bad?
I don't know if it was as bad, but it was definitely worse than the West.
The only team I can remember them talking about him having to overcome was the Bad Boy Pistons, but then also against
Knicks had a squad,
Barkley
didn't
and them. No,
No,
that was
in
he
the
was
West.
the West. That was in the finals.
Yeah.
The Suns, Sonics in the finals. I don't know. I'm trying to think of who else in the East he had to beat.
I would say before Durant went to Golden State, I would say LeBron is 3 and 2. Because in 2 he just had no chance. There was no way he was gonna. It was just clear. There was no. Even Jordan wouldn't have won those. If you replace LeBron and Jordan wouldn't have won those finals either.
Well, that's the other argument, is if you were to put them on each other's finals teams, for one, LeBron can't improve on what Jordan did. Hypothetically, Jordan could improve on what LeBron did. Whether you think he would have or not, he could have actually potentially done better.
Who do you think Jordan
LeBron-
would have beat? And the ones that Lebron lost?
I don't know.
Maybe
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Is he also could have done worse, technically.
they probably would have beat the Mavs. That's probably it.
Who else did they lose to in the finals in
The
Miami?
Spurs.
That's
They
right.
lost in
beat
5
them,
games.
And then they lost to them.
They lost in 5 games. Cole and Chalmers couldn't hit a fucking shot to save their life.
Well, and even the year that they beat them, it was on the
Even the year they
Miracle
beat him, they
Ray
almost
Allen-
won, right?
Miracle Ray Allen
Yep.
shot in Game 6
Yep.
to save it. They're literally
Yep.
bringing the statue out already.
Yep.
I don't know. I feel like the biggest thing is just it's the same thing like they say Kobe has that Jordan had that doesn't seem like LeBron has, which is just that killer mentality. Even
I
though
don't know.
LeBron, if you look at it, clutch shots,
I-
he actually has made more at a
If
higher
it's-
percent.
I've seen that too. That
which
they
is
say,
crazy.
Yeah.
If it's to tie, LeBron's money. If it's to win,
And that's why I always said Steph Curry was
But-
a little overrated. Because if you watched him before Durant got there, in games where they were behind, it was always Draymond and Clay who would lead comebacks, who would look like they were like we're not losing this game.
Yeah.
But if the game is tied or they're winning, Curry just kills people.
Oh,
He
I don't
loves
know.
to
I
front
don't know.
run.
I might disagree with
I
that.
feel like
so,
he front
so,
runs.
so, do you listen to Zach Lowe?
Not much.
So he really thinks that throughout these last couple of years with Durant and the dynasty the Warriors have had, he feels like Curry has just kind of been looked past, and that people feel like he's just.
No, yeah, with the years with Durant, you look at it, the on-off numbers, it's way better with Curry. And that's what they've been talking about this year big time is Durant's the ultimate luxury.
So
But he's not the
they
most
have
important
found Curry's plus minus with Draymond, Clay, and Durant all off the floor is still the highest in the league. It's through the roof with those 3 off the floor. And I mean, I honestly think he's underrated. I really do. Everyone was talking about last year when they played Houston, about how all Houston was going to do is try to switch perimeter picks to get Curry isolated on someone.
Yeah.
I feel like Curry is at least an average defender in terms of starting point guard in the league. I feel like Harden is the worst defender than Curry is.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
The only thing Harden has is that last-second reach in the cookie.
Yeah.
No, I'm just talking about when Curry won back-to-back MVPs. I felt like he was a little overrated. Just from
It might have been. Yeah.
Like, if you look at the year before Durant went there, Golden State played OKC in the conference championship.
Yep.
It was the year Curry hurt his knee, I think.
Yep.
So he had come back from injury like 2 weeks before.
Yep.
But like Game 6, OKC was
You're right.
about to close it
Clay
out,
brought him back,
and Clay
hands down. Clay fucking went off and brought him back.
And I feel like I saw that a bunch where him or Draymond, and not necessarily that they would do all the scoring, but they're the ones who have the attitude. And I actually kind of like that because NBA, they always like, hey, if you're the top scoring guy on the team, you have to be the alpha.
Uh-huh.
And yet neither Curry or Durant.
No, I agree.
are
Draymond
that
has
mentality.
been the alpha for the team for the last however many years. But I don't agree that you have to have that attitude.
I don't think so either. That's
Yeah.
why I hate that they're like, you have to be the leader, you have to be the alpha because you score the most points. Like, no, he's just the best scorer on the team.
Yep.
And there's been other teams, I guess, where the alpha, I guess you don't see it that much. Everyone just expects that guy to be the
top scorer to be
top
the
guy.
alpha.
Yeah, to be a leader.
Yeah.
It's like honestly, the biggest leader on the Warriors is probably Andre Iguodala. Draymond's the
emotional leader. Iguodala is like, the old veteran.
He's the one who's always talking to guys on the sideline.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
Yeah.
more like he's like the coach.
Yeah, he's the player coach. Yeah.
Shit, when the Curry let him coach against the Suns last year, they won by like 45.
How old is Iggy? He's got to be.
He's like 34, 35.
That's it?
I think that's it.
Oh, fuck.
he's one of those guys who was like right out of high school, right?
Because I remember the other AI.
Well, they
Or
asked
1
so
year.
much of him in Philly. I think those kind of took a toll on him.
35.
35,
Yeah, as soon as Allen Iverson left, they're like,
But I mean-
Iggy, you're our best player now, so you need
Yeah.
to make plays for everybody and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean, I think people hit their physical peak about 26, 27.
Yeah, 27 is.
Yeah.
That's what they
So
say.
really,
Yeah.
even to play at his level at 35 is really an incredible accomplishment. It really is.
And they've done such a good job of keeping him healthy and fresh throughout the years,
Yep.
the last like 3 or 4 years. Super impressive. But yeah, he was a number 1 player on a team and then went there to be the
Yep.
number
6.
3, 4.
Yeah.
And then became the 6th man after like 2 years.
Yeah.
So you got the Portland is number 4 seed right now behind OKC. Then the Rockets are a couple games behind them. There's definitely a drop off to the Rockets, Jazz. That was another one. The Jazz, a lot of people were like, oh, expect them to take another step forward. I was like, why? They didn't do anything to get better.
Well, they beat OKC in the playoffs.
They beat OKC in the playoffs, but then OKC,
And you had
I
the
mean, I guess
emergence
OKC
of-
didn't bring a lot
Mitchell.
back either, but they started with 2 all-pro guys, so it's like you could see them getting better just by playing together another year.
But you could see Mitchell making that leap.
But he already was
Rubio.
scoring 26
Yeah.
a game by the
Mitchell,
playoffs.
Mitchell already had such an incredible season. I think it was a little unrealistic to expect him to take another leap after that.
I just didn't see what was going to make them better, but they
They
did
could've
recover.
got
They've
better.
been recovering and they've been better lately.
They were highly in the Mike Conley sweepstakes.
Oh yeah.
But they didn't.
I think
Instead, they got Kyle Korver.
I think the Raptors. I really think they could beat the Warriors. They are so fucking loaded,
That was my pick before the season.
and they've gotten even better.
Yeah, they have.
They got
Got
Gasol,
Gasol, yeah.
like fucking it, and they get lost like nothing for him.
So as soon as Lowry disappears, you just bring in Gasol. And that'll...
Yeah, and he's coming off the bench, and
They are fucking loaded.
it's almost not fair.
Siakam, like most improved player.
Yeah, the
Kawhi.
Bucks seem like the team
Kawhi's
that
been on
isn't
load
built for the
management.
playoffs because, I mean, they're still the spread team, but it seems like it's going to be a double Giannis fest. So other guys are going to have to step up and hit.
But they have
shots.
shooters.
Yeah, those guys are going to have to hit
They literally
shots.
built their team around like how like LeBron used to. They used to build around LeBron in Miami.
It's pretty
You
impressive.
get one stud and a bunch of shooters, and it works.
Yeah.
I like better how they're doing it, though, because they're not playing the plodding ISO basketball that LeBron always has played.
Well, LeBron's actually typically been a pick and roll player.
Yeah, it's just him dribbling, pick and roll and him create, or it was Kyrie, now you do it, or Wade, you do it.
I think Giannis is more of an ISO player than my friend Kalen's calling me right now. Do you want me to answer or not?
Tell him that
I
we're
don't care. Is he
watching.
the one who was just playing?
He was just playing.
Sure, answer. I don't care.
Hey, Kalen. Hey, I'm on a podcast with my friends. It's not an X-Wing podcast. They just talk about random shit, so just FYI.
Okay.
We watched you, though.
You can do that. I was about to say, fuck, I'm so happy. Do you want the left game?
Yeah, we were actually watching it while we were recording. They kept giving me shout outs on the cat. They were like, he's Blair Bunking it. You did it. So what? How many people went 5-1 or better?
14.
So you don't? Do you have a bye or not?
No, I don't get a bye.
No bye.
I'm the top two.
So one win. And
This round is top 8.
do you know what you're playing?
I don't want to know. No, thank you.
All right.
Let's just jump into Blair. I came on this list at 2 a.m. this morning. I just put it on the table. I'm bartering chips to do it. It's just for any of the-
Oh wow. Wow. All right. Well done, dude.
Yeah, thanks. I just some of the games.
Yeah.
Like, if I did that one game with bad guys, I barely lost it. If I didn't have that, I would have won 6-0.
Wow. Huh.
Really. So strong, 6 shifts.
Yeah.
So good when it works. Especially when they, the flanking with the X-ray or the normal Ewing, my Ewing flank stuff. That's still so good.
That Ewing block was pretty good in the last game.
Well, do you see the Ewing tractor beams because they couldn't focus all the fire on my Ewing?
Uh
That's so good.
huh.
Oh, good. Anyways, I'll leave it to you.
All right. Well, I'll watch tomorrow.
Sorry.
I'll be watching tomorrow if you make it on stream.
We'll see.
All right.
Talk to you later.
All right. See you.
That's awesome. All right, back to NBA, I guess. The Nuggets. Any confidence that they'll actually win in the playoffs?
I think they can win, but I don't think they're gonna beat the Warriors.
I just feel like defensively, it's another one of those in the playoffs. Their defense won't be good enough. The Warriors will start choking Jokic, and it's going to come down to all the young Nuggets players. But they got a lot of shooters too. Who knows? Nate Robinson might even.
I thought they cut him already.
Did they cut him?
I thought he played like one game and they cut him.
right when he got healthy. Or Isaiah Thomas. I said Nate Robinson.
I think Jokic could have a good series because they don't really have the size to match up with him. But I just don't think they have enough firepower or enough defense. You got to have a bunch of guys that can switch, and I just don't think they have that.
No, it looks like Isaiah Thomas is still there. At least there's been articles recently about him.
Oh, Isaiah Thomas. You said
Yeah,
Nate.
sorry, I said Nate Robinson.
Yeah.
Nate Robinson hasn't been in the league for years.
If Robinson can come back and be like 95% of what he was, that would help, obviously. But
It's been a mystery for a few years now why Nate Robinson hasn't gotten another chance to be like a.
David
you know,
Robinson?
I felt
spark
like
scorer
I
off the
remember
bench.
he played like the first game with the Pelicans like 2 or 3 years ago, and I felt like he looked pretty good. But then they cut him after literally the first game. I think he's just too much of a screw off that coaches just don't like having to deal with him. I think
He's been playing flag. Was it flag football?
Flag football, yeah.
Ricky sent us a clip.
He's a beast.
he's been doing the Drew League too.
Nobody, like, the commentators were like, well, he is a basketball player, so he's got that. Nobody mentioned that he played, like, for
College
the-
football,
for the
yeah, for
Huskies,
UW.
Yeah.
I think he was I think he was a DB too.
He was, yeah.
And all his highlights were playing as like safety.
What do you guys think IT is going to make a difference?
He could. He might.
You could put,
A lot of the
he could
talk
be
has been how
lethal
he's
for
kind of
Denver.
redundant
He
to some
was.
of the guys they already have, but if he can be a spark scorer off the
Yeah,
bench,
you can
40
always
minutes,
use a guy. You can always use a guy give you scoring off the bench like that. I mean that hurt Houston in Golden State series. They just ran out of scoring.
Yeah.
Well,
28 threes missed in a row.
Yeah.
Holy cow, yeah, it's crazy. But that's what they say. If you're going to shoot that many threes, you live and die by the three. In a 7-game
Yeah,
series.
but they had no one to come in. Like when everyone went cold, they had no one. So like, I don't think you can underestimate having offense
That's
like
probably
that.
the biggest problem with the Rockets is Harden's the only guy who can take the ball to the basket.
Pretty much, he's the only
They
guy.
built
He's
that team is just Capella, Harden, and shooters too.
yeah. Well, now I think Paul is like done. He's had some flashes this year, but I think he's lost.
He's been hurt so much.
Yeah,
year.
he's been banged up too much. I don't think he has that quickness that he used to have. So I don't
Maybe
think
he's,
they can. I think they could have beat the Warriors last year. I don't think they can do it this year.
Well, they lost some Bob Mute and Ariza.
I don't think Abba Mute was much of a loss. Ariza definitely hurt.
Wasn't that one of the big problems last year? He was hurt and he couldn't shoot.
Mute's shoulder, yeah.
What?
He came back from his shoulder.
Okay.
And like they said, like he couldn't actually lift his arm all the way above his head.
I believe it, because he didn't do shit in the conference finals against him.
Yeah, they've stopped really playing him much. But what about the Chris Paul virus of whatever team he goes to, all of a sudden becomes the biggest whiners? Because even now Harden's like the biggest whiner in basketball.
That other night, that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
They completely singled out that ref. It was like,
Scott Foster.
Yeah, you fucking...
They stare him down and complain
2-point
about
game.
calls, and then they get mad that he gives them a text. Like,
You're in a
what?
2-point game with 40 seconds left, and one of your star players and your coach get teed up.
You know, I gotta say, I agree. I actually like D'Antoni, and I think he could.
He's never gonna win a title.
I think he could with
He
the right
could.
personnel. So, like, I was
The problem
listening.
is just that everyone has played for him
I
and
couldn't
said,
win
like,
a
he
title,
basically
but-
doesn't say the word defense ever. Like, when he coaches, he just
He's not
never
gonna-
brings up defense.
Nope.
I agree with that. I would also Phil Jackson. They asked him at the start of like one of the last seasons he had with the Lakers. They said, "How much of it is managing personnel, and how much of it is X's and O's?" And he said it's 90% managing personnel, 10% X's and O's. Coaching high school. It's a bunch of little freshmen. You wouldn't think it's it is so much managing personalities. It really is. It really is. It's about trying to build them confidence. And it's so much of a balance of trying to get them to take the right shots, make the right plays, but still keeping their confidence up, telling them you're doing it wrong, but still keeping their confidence up at the same time. It's such a balancing act. I think. Did you listen to when D'Antoni was on Zach Lowe's podcast?
No, I didn't.
And he said when he traded for Shaq,
Uh-huh.
he didn't want to, but like there was so much outside pressure from everyone saying you can't win with your 8 seconds or less bullshit. You can't do it. 7 seconds or less.
Yeah.
You can't do it. So he was like, all right, fine. And so he traded for Shaq. But he said in hindsight, if he could have done it again, he wouldn't have done it because he saw what it did to their offense.
Well, and Kerr was the GM then,
weak.
right?
Kerr was the GM.
He has said it was like he knew it probably wasn't the right move, but they were at the point where they had to take a home run swing.
But they traded Marion, who was
What
their
is
best
he showing?
defensive player.
Yeah.
What has he shown throughout his... He's good at making one guy good?
He's good at coming up with new nicknames in
So-
just new cities.
Like
Like
he made
Cactus.
Nash good. He made Harden good.
So-
he made
D'Antoni.
Stoudemire good.
So I'll say this.
Didn't do shit in LA.
He didn't do shit in LA. He asked Gasol to shoot threes. That was
Or in-
dumb as fuck.
Or in New York. He didn't do shit in New York either.
They were all right. It was when they traded
did-
for Melo when they started to fall apart. The first
Yeah,
year,
him and Melo did not get
they
along.
won like 46 games. They went from like 22 wins to 46 his first year when they brought Stoudemire in. And they were even decent without Stoudemire. He turned Raymond
he got
Felton
hurt.
into a pretty good player. And then Stoudemire got hurt. They brought in Melo, and the whole thing changed. He had a really bad stint in LA. He's not in the upper echelon of coaches he's not like Popovich, who can just take a group, find their strengths, and build his team to accentuate their strengths and take advantage of them. He needs to have a certain personnel to accentuate them and take advantage of
He needs
their
guys who
talents.
fit his system.
He needs guys who fit his system. But if he has those guys, I think he could win a title. I really do. Are we gonna keep going? Because I gotta piss like a fucking racehorse.
You can go-
Well, we can call it here. We got like an hour and 45.
All right.
Yeah, no, it should be fun playoffs. Thanks for coming on, Blair. It took a while.
Thanks for having me, dudes.
Well,
I now know that I'm your 19th most interesting friend, Ricky.
No, we had some repeat guests, so
Number
you're
one.
like 15th. No, you're on Blair. You're on Ricky's Mount
my
Rushmore
dream.
guests.
Yeah. It's you, Wardell, Frizzell.
And now that we don't feel
Have
like
you had
we
Wardell and Frizzell
embarrass-
on?
No.
Oh, I wouldn't even ask Wardell.
Frizzell, really? Okay. Yeah, now that we
Wardell
don't feel
and
like
Frizzell?
we're going to embarrass
Frizzell
ourselves.
is a Cedar Woolley legend.
And we definitely got to
Maybe
get...
Amundsen for the final.
Oh,
that
fucking
could be fun.
Amundsen.
That would be...
Belted.
But definitely want to have you, Darren Hook, do a Game of Thrones blowout.
Fuck
Maybe
yeah.
maybe I'll try and do multiple Game of Thrones podcasts before the season starts.
Maybe I'll
Because
actually
I
get
keep
into
finding
it,
more and more
but I
people
doubt
who want to.
Did you guys
do it.
see
Game
that
of
movie?
Zones. You ever see Game of Zones?
Oh, fuck
Seen
yeah, I
a few-
did.
a few episodes,
That's
yeah.
fucking hilarious. Do you see the one with Kobe?
No, I didn't.
It's like he's leaving like King's Landing, he's got like this like torch or something. And like, who's he gonna pass it to? And like Dan was like, yo, Kobe, give it to me, man. Chuck's like, oh, Kobe, give me the... And like, who's he gonna pass it to? It's like a tradition. And then he just like walks past everyone and walks out like, he didn't pass it to anyone.
I love it. Even when you expect it, it's still just too funny.
Fuck. What the fuck was I gonna say? What were you guys talking about before Game of Thrones?
Game of Thrones?
I mentioned having you and Darren hook on for Game of Thrones podcast. We still want to maybe do one where you teach us all a new game.
If you dudes, it's my birthday coming up. If you guys want to come to my house and film us playing Bolt Action, I'll bring you guys and Hook and Darren. We can play a game, drink some booze, and eat some. I can smoke some brisket or some pulled pork, whatever you guys want for my birthday. I think you guys. I think it'd be a fun time if you guys want to come over to my house and do that for my birthday.
Is yours on the 23rd? So I think it's like the same.
25th.
25th. Okay, because I remember the weekend. Whenever you would do it, it's like the same weekend as my mom's birthday. Yeah, I know. I got a friend who's doing a birthday thing in Seattle on like the 23rd of March. That's like the Saturday before.
What was I gonna say? I had something, Ricky.
Game of Zones was just too good to not bring up. The White Walkers as the Spurs last year was pretty good.
That's pretty good.
But I don't know.
All right.
We'll let you know about Game of Thrones ones, and otherwise, yeah, thanks for coming on. We'll do it again.
Oh.